9:08, if I could ask everyone to please stand for the invocation given today by Pastor David Bendet from the Rock City Church. Thank you for being here, and then continue standing for the pledges, please.
Good morning. Thank you so much to everyone for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be here. Let's pray. Lord, I thank you so much for all the first responders that are here. Thank you for this county. Thank you for these commissioners. Thank you for this court. Thank you for our county judge. And I thank you so much, Lord, that every purpose and plan you've established for this county, this city, this region will be established because you love us, you care for us, and you desire to rescue the hurting, the broken, the lost, and the dying. And I thank you that we get to be a part of that. Lord, I thank you that you're the builder of this house, this city. I pray we would not watch or labor in vain, but that, Lord, our eyes would be on you in everything that we're called to do, and that it would be according to your design, not our own agenda, but your agenda. Lord, I thank you for unity with these commissioners. I thank you for unity in this county, and I thank you, Lord, that even when we're weary and tired, we can run to you and find rest and reprieve. Thank you so much, Lord, for great grace to do what we're called to do. And I thank you, Lord, for all these leaders, all these men and women. And I thank you, Lord, that Corpus Christi, Texas, and Nueces County belongs to you. We will labor and fight right according to your plans and purposes. And I thank you, Jesus, for having your way above all. And I worship you over this court and over every leader that's here today. And we love you and thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. Just want to mention the sheriff did ask for a personal privilege with all the hats in here. We love seeing all of you, our law enforcement officers, here in your hats, so there was no personal privilege needed. We're happy to have you all here. It is 9:11. We are calling this meeting to order. We are at 901 Leopard in the Commissioner's Courtroom. We have all commissioners here except for Commissioner Gonzalez. He is in the back room. I'm certain he will be joining us any moment. Do we have any conflicts of interest? Anyone like to disclose that at this time?
Judge, I have an item on under section G4 that I'll be abstaining from,
Yes.
and that's on file.
Yes, absolutely. I had it marked in my calendar, in my agenda already. Any others? Otherwise, I will move on to item E, present the following certificates of recognition. We have E1 in recognition of Arliss Young's 27 years of service to Nueces County. And I had in my notes that the sheriff was going to speak about this.
Hey, Arliss, join me at the podium. Hey, so y'all, this is Arliss Young. Arliss started his career with the Nueces County Sheriff's Office in 1995. He was an unpaid deputy. Back then they called them reserves. But he's basically an unpaid deputy. A reserve is every bit as qualified and every bit as trained up as a fully paid deputy sheriff. And that's the way Arliss started with us. He spent a significant time as a correctional officer in the Nueces County Jail. And as a correctional officer, he worked his way into jail industries. And one thing, I remember Arliss when I was a Corpus Christi police officer, but it's kind of fitting that Arliss is retiring on the day that we're recognizing these cowboys who helped us with an estray situation. Because I believe it was probably close to the year 2000, maybe 2002, somewhere in there, as a Corpus Christi police officer, we got an estray call out near Yorktown and Airline. It was a horse. And I chased that horse for 30 minutes. I chased it in my patrol car. I chased it on foot. I could not get anywhere near that horse. So every sheriff in the state of Texas is obligated to deal with estrays, even inside city limits. It's their responsibility. So, of course, the dispatcher called the Nueces County Sheriff's Office years ago at this incident, and Arliss was the one that showed up. And Arliss pulled up in his pickup truck and his horse trailer, and he just slowly got out of the truck, went to the back of the trailer, opened the gate, went to the back of the truck, got a white bucket, and started shaking that bucket. I mean, he walked up on the trailer, and the horse followed him up on the trailer. So thank you for that, my friend. So anyway, Arliss is retiring with 27 years of service, and we will miss Arliss. Thank you, my friend. And hey, you know what? One of his coworkers, or let me open up the mic for any kind of stories, or not a lot, but come on up here, Chief. Stories that can be told in public, please.
He's already turning red.
I'll keep it. Arlitos, as I like to call him, I've had the pleasure of knowing him for 16 years, and he has told me many, many stories.
And the speaker.
Many stories, Arlitos, and has given me a vast education on steers and bulls and pigs, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know you. It's an honor getting to know you. We will definitely feel the loss of you not being here, but I know that you're moving on to better things, and I wish you all the best.
Captain Juan Aranda. He's the one that told me about that Mexican restaurant we ate at this morning. It was good. Yeah, it was good.
It was very good.
Arliss is a character, a teacher, and a mentor. We're going to miss that. Very first occasion when I was a rookie, 20 plus years ago, I had the pleasure of relieving him on shift. And he made sure that he let us know what the standard was when we came in. And they reciprocated it as well, setting a good standard for us officers. Then fast forward another 12 years. Then I had the privilege of working with him when he was an AIP. And I recall putting my foot in my mouth by telling him, let's go after that longhorn and let's rope it and tie it to the truck. He basically told me I was insane and gave me another lesson on cattle steering. So we will miss him. You were a good teacher. You still are a good example as well. And you are going to be missed. Thank you so very much, sir. I will call you a deputy, an officer, and definitely a cowboy. Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words too?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Thank y'all for 27 years.
Thank you.
Commissioners, it's been long.
It's okay.
You can do it.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
That's all right.
Come on up to the front, and I'll present you with this.
You need your horse.
Good job, Arliss. Good job.
Yeah, first time.
We have some also, so if we want to get anybody else up here, his wife.
Thank you for your service, sir. We greatly appreciate everything.
27 years, a lifetime.
Yep.
You guys want to get up for the
I know you got some good stories, sir. Oh, I'm sure he does. Sure he does.
You gotta move it back, Judge. Hello, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Thank you for your service.
Oh,
You got one for Hagan. Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I can't imagine, 27 years, it's hard to give it
Carol?
up. isn't it?
Does this mean you're retiring from the horses as well?
No, sir, still
I-
have
I-
horses this way. Not giving that up.
Well, keep on trail riding.
Still working on that one too.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
And I was in charge of the trail ride from here to San Antonio for about 9 years. So we've been in the horse business quite a while. I want to thank all my colleagues out there.
Being there. They're usually already put together.
Cody, you stay this long.
Thank you. Thank you very much, yes.
Congratulations, Steve.
Congratulations, Harley.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Take care, man. Enjoy life. Enjoy your vacation. You're retired.
Come on, Carol. Let's go. I'm not used to wearing a suit.
If you want to stay for the next one for the Cowboys, we'll go ahead and do that one first so that you can be a part of that with your friends.
Sorry, gentlemen. I know your job.
I will pull up F3, recognizing the 5 Cowboys who assisted Nueces County deputies with rounding up 5 wild stray horses. And the sheriff already alluded to that, but we are greatly appreciative of all the help that he received. And we have some esteemed guests here as well, and I'm sure the sheriff's going to recognize you. But we're very happy to have you on, very thankful for the help.
So that whole estray situation, no one knows it better than Jim Wells County. They do an awful lot of it in Jim Wells County. And we found that out over the Easter holiday. Sometime Saturday before Easter Sunday, a group of horses escaped in the London Chapman Ranch area. And these horses were about as wild as they could be. They were described as feral. They belonged to a gentleman who basically kept them locked up and never socialized them. And when they did escape, they had no intention of ever going back to that property. And they had acres, hundreds and hundreds of acres of little tender cotton plants and little tender corn plants to feed on. And they were literally in horse heaven. There was also a lake there. And like I said, they had no intention. They were going to be Nueces County wild horses on that wild horse desert that butts up out on the west side of Nueces County. And so anyway, as is the case with estrays, we have to deal with them quickly and effectively, because if they end up on a road, a county road, a state highway, or any road, it's often tragic what happens with large animals like horses and cattle on roads. And so it's our responsibility to quickly get them contained and captured. Well, our patrol response was there, but our patrol response was defeated. And there's only so much you can do, and you just can't chase a wild horse in a patrol car, an ATV or a UTV. It's just not going to turn out well, and we found that out. So anyway, I have here with me one of the deputies that was on scene and navigated the issue and ultimately got us to a successful completion. And I'll let you take it from here, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning. My name is David Alanese. I'm the patrol sergeant that was on duty that day. So I'm going to read here this Commissioner's Court resolution. Whereas on April 2nd, 2024, these 5 gentlemen assisted Nueces County deputies with rounding up 5 wild stray horses in the London Chapman Ranch area. Whereas these assisting gentlemen are Lance Brown, the team leader who is the Jim Wells County Emergency Management Coordinator and assisted in roping and impounding livestock. Buddy Olson, the helicopter pilot who specializes in rounding up cattle using his helicopter, who I'll make a note, he's not here at the moment. I believe he's on vacation in Costa Rica. Sam Wilkinson, who's a veterinarian from Alice, who was extremely valuable in the operation with medical care for the horses. Mark Crawford, a private resident of the Chapman Ranch area and former rodeo cowboy, assisted with roping and directing the movement of the horses. Marty Kale, a farmer in the London Chapman Ranch area, who assisted in the roundup. Now, therefore, it is to be resolved by the Commissioners Court of Nueces County hereby recognizes these 5 men for offering their time, skills, and resources to help the Nueces County Sheriff's Office impounding these livestock. So I'd just like to talk real quick on my experience with livestock. I've been with the Sheriff's Office 14 years. I've been in patrol for 12 years out on the street. Livestock is something that is almost a daily occurrence in Nueces County. When you have ranches, farms, and people that own horses and cattle, and I've literally responded to hundreds of these calls over my years of service. But this situation was specifically different and unique in its way because the area of which these horses got out, and like the sheriff said, these horses, they did not want to be any part, they didn't want to be near any humans, they were scared. And anybody who lives on the south side of Corpus knows State Highway 286 and FM 2444, which is way out Staples, and everybody knows how populated that road is. And these horses were going back and forth across the roadway, eating the grain, and not only just eating the grain and the farm, they were causing a hazard and they were damaging property as well. So we had to reach out, and I reached out to Lance Brown, who contracts, as I said, through Jim Wells County, and they assisted and they got their team together and they put that team together, and it was something to see if y'all had been there to see them, you know, with the helicopter and roping and darting these horses from a helicopter. It was pretty impressive. And like I said, livestock, something that we deal with almost on a daily basis. I mean, if y'all have Facebook, y'all can go back to the Nueces County Sheriff's Facebook page and watch me get attacked by a goat, because I know we posted that recently a while back. A goat ran me over on a call, but we successfully got the goat. I'm fine, it didn't hurt. But we were successfully able to get that goat, and like I said, that's just an example, and this is something that we deal with on a daily basis. So I wanted to thank these gentlemen here on behalf of Sheriff Hooper and Nueces County Sheriff's Office for your assistance with us on that. Thank you very much.
I will make the motion to pass.
Hey, so we're also
Wait a
joined
second.
today by Jim Wells County Sheriff Danny Bueno. Danny, my friend, thank you for being here. And Jim Wells County Judge Pete Trevino. Thank you, Judge. Thank you for being here.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Now, if you want to play your video for it, yes. Looks like no animals were harmed in that video.
Hey, Lance, you or any of your team care to say a few words about the collaboration between our agencies and how important it was that day?
It's a successful day, Sheriff. Congratulations to you and everybody
Absolutely.
that had something to do with this. We really appreciate y'all doing that.
Yes, my name is Lance Brown, Jim Wells County Emergency Management. I just want to say thank you to our sheriff. He put together a great plan for Jim Wells County with the livestock, with what we do with our livestock. Can't thank him enough with his support and everything that he does to keep Jim Wells County safe. Our Sergeant Garcia, patrol guy, he has his hands full with donkeys, horses, cows, goats on a daily basis. So, we work really, really, really hard on that. Dr. Sam, we dang sure couldn't have done it without him. Our county judge, Chirino, the the relationship that our county judge has and that our sheriff has and the unity that our county judge has brought to our county is just absolutely unbelievable. So where we were kind of going astray in just a year and a half, our county judge, Pete Trevino, brought us back together to unify us all together, from our sheriff's department, EMS, jailhouse, commissioners. I mean, we got a really good thing going on over there in Jim Wells County. And so whenever Sergeant David called me, he called me on a Monday, said that he kind of got a problem. It was at 3 o'clock, and I said, man, I can't go because, I know roping a horse off of a horse I'm 0 for 3 in that, and I know that it's not very fun. I don't know how the Indians did it back in the days, but, I know that it's not very, very fun, but I knew with the technology that we have, we would be able to complete this task. So I got with Dr. Sam over here, and I said, hey, this is what we got. What do you think? And he said, man, my in-laws are coming in. You think we'll be done by 10? Oh, absolutely. I said, there's plenty of real estate. We'll go. We'll lay them down. We'll get there at 8. I'm taking my buggy, so they have trailers. We got trustees. They got a lot of resources. Yeah, we'll be done by 10. Well, we didn't get done till 10. I think it was 3:30. I think we all missed lunch, and we're dying for water, and we covered a lot of real estate over there on that south end of Corpus, and so we took off after them at the very beginning. Sam busted 3 of them. We know we had 2 confirmed hits for sure. Wasn't quite sure about the third one. Well, then they start going to that heavy trafficked area that y'all were talking about, that 2244 and 196. There's a lot of people going there. And so we go and we're herding them like a bunch of birds, they were just, kind of like Spirit, come back, Spirit, because they were long gone. And so we got them pushed back towards a safe area. And I got with Sergeant David, and I said, hey, man, what resources do you have that are available to me? And he said, well, Sheriff Hooper said, you got to do whatever you got to do. We're going to catch these 5 horses, and we aren't leaving until all 5 are caught. I said, 10-4, do you have a helicopter? And he said, yes, we do. 30 minutes out, let's get them here. So we got them pushed to a safe area, and without any pressure at all, we lost them. These horses were running wide open, and they were probably about a mile away from us. And with zero pressure on them, 3 of them ran through a fence, and in 3 different spots. And so Sam and I both agreed that, man, this is going to be some pretty rank stuff. And we finally spotted one, and Sam and I tried to catch this horse, and we had him darted, and he was drowsy, and I told Sam, man, we're going to need somebody with the horse, to get up there so that way we can catch him. And logistic wise, I knew what we needed to do and how to do it. And so we just all came together, Mr. Marty and everybody. It was a huge collaboration together. I couldn't have done it by myself. I couldn't have done it without our doctor and our other guys. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm glad that we got everybody safe and sound. No animals got injured. No peoples got injured. We took our time. Everybody was safe. And once I just want to thank Sheriff Bueno for putting together, what we have established in Jim Wells County, our county judge for the leadership he has, our sergeant, our vet, and, I just want to thank everybody. It was a good and very blessed day. Thank you.
We want to thank you guys. We have a resolution for you, and we would love to take a photo. I am very proud of the relationship we have with our sheriff over here too, but we are even more proud of the collaboration between the counties and working together to solve things like this and keep our communities safe. So thank you. Thank you very much from the bottom of our heart for Nueces County for your help in this issue. So if I could get you to come up, please.
Let's go, team up front.
Judge. How are you, sir? Good to see you. How are you? Good to see you.
Sure, bueno.
All these hats, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna get it in the stool. I can't even get over that.
I know. That'll work. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1. All right. 1. Oh, phones. You can't use your camera in here.
Sorry. Commissioner Hernandez, can you take a half step this way?
Half step.
Yes, perfect. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate everything you do.
Good job, sir. Good job.
How are the horses?
Thank you for your help, sir. We appreciate you.
We're sold yesterday. Oh, they were? But just- Oh, I don't know. I'm out on the I know they went to the Gulf Coast Livestock Auction there in Alice.
I was gonna ask you about that. I like that app. It was just.
They're good?
I think they told me they were getting this.
Look like a cowboy out there. That's my dream. I wanted to try that thing out of the helicopter that, yeah. I was like, I haven't got to do that yet. That's one of my wants.
How are you?
We will give you guys a second to get outside of the courtroom so we can continue with our business. Moving on item F1, in recognition of Robstown Early College High School Lady Pickers powerlifting team. Are they here outside? Does anyone know?
Yes, they are.
Okay, yeah. We'll let them join us in the courtroom. Here, it looks like they're coming. Thank you, and I think, Ms. Priscilla, you're going to read the
Yes, ma'am.
resolution. Thank you for being here.
Okay, well, in recognition of the Robstown Early College High School Lady Pickers Powerlifting Team 2024 State Championships. Whereas the Robstown Early College High School Lady Pickers Powerlifting Team finished the 2024 season with their back-to-back state champions as they defended their state title 3 years in a row.
Awesome.
The Lady Pickers powerlifting team, led by head coach Edward Marganeau and assistant coaches Jennifer Martinez, J.B. Sanchez, and Josh Hernandez. Whereas the Robstown Lady Pickers powerlifting team members include seniors Emilyn Olguin, 114-pound class, 3rd place, and Mia Bella Valtierra, 123rd-pound class, 5th place. Juniors Gianna Olguin, 148-pound class, 9th place. Olivia Morales, 165-pound class, 4th place. Jaylee Larby, 165-pound class, 6th place. Now, sophomore Jaylyn Fernandez, 105-pound, 4th place, and Olivia Carrillo, 220-pound class, 12th place. Individual first place state champions is Junior Taylor Alanis, 132-pound class state champion. Leah Alanis, 105-pound class state champion, all-time best squat record, 104 pounds, and all-time best total record, 180 pound, and she won outstanding squat and outstanding light weightlifter. Senior Janessa Vela, 198-pound class state champion, all-time best bench record, 320 pound, and one outstanding bench. Whereas in addition to the team earning state championship 4A Division II, head coach Edward Margano was awarded the winning coach of Class 4A Division II. Now therefore let it be resolved by the Commissioners Court of Nueces County hereby congratulates the Robstown Early College High School Lady Pickers powerlifting team on their 2024 state championship title and further encourage the citizens of Nueces County to join the court in celebrating the Lady Pickers powerlifting team for their accomplishments this season. Duly adopted by vote of the Commissioners Court of Nueces County, Texas on this 24th day of April 2024.
Are you going to make the motion?
Motion to accept the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. And Coach, would you like to say a few words first? And then I'm sure the commissioners want to say a few words. We're very proud of the team, and consistently going to state like that. It's pretty impressive.
Yes. First of all, just thank you guys for bringing us out here to recognize these ladies on all their accomplishments that they've done. It's not easy, well, to do it once, to do it twice, but to do it 3 times in a row. It's a very big deal to our community and for what they represent in Robstown. Our practices are at 6:30 in the morning, so it's already hard enough to wake up and come to school. But when we wake up, come to school, and we're lifting weights that are very heavy, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and a different type of mindset to come and do what these young ladies do. So just, hats off to them. They're amazing athletes. They're dedicated on what they want to accomplish, and obsession is kind of a thing that you need to be when you're in the weight room trying to get stronger and get better. So these girls, they have what it takes, and we're going to make another run for a 4th. So thank you guys for having us.
Thank you.
I did want to have one of my athletes speak. She's a senior, and she has been one of the ones that has been here the whole ride for the 3 years. So I'm going to introduce Janessa Vela.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Janessa Vela, and I'm a senior at Robstown Early College High School. I would first off like to thank the Commissioners Court for inviting us today to celebrate our 3-time state championship run. I've had the honor of being on the Robstown powerlifting team for the past 4 years and have felt nothing but proud of where my team and I stand today. Sorry, powerlifting makes me emotional. Powerlifting is a sisterhood, and me and my team have been nothing but family. As a graduating senior, I pray my team repeats history next year with nothing but the pure strength and pride they have shown this year. Seeing Robstown powerlifting grow and create a culture in the process has been such a memorable journey. As my sisters continue with powerlifting, I pray our tradition continues and all of their individual stories are complete. All of our accomplishments could not have been possible without our Robstown community. It takes a village, and I am nothing but thankful for all the support that has helped our powerlifting team take our 3rd state title.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Do you want to say something, Commissioner?
Thank you,
And then we'll
Judge.
Call them up.
Ladies, I just want to congratulate you. We had a chance to visit outside before the start of the meeting, and I don't think we could find another team in the state, maybe one of the bigger cities in the state, but at least in our area of the state, that is a 3-time state championship team. I mean, in any sport. That, so unique. The first one was great, exciting. The second one was like, wow, they did it again. And the 3rd time, it's just, we're getting used to it. So we hope and expect you all to be here next year. Congratulations to the seniors who helped build up this program. It's, I have a shirt that I wear when I I think I'm exercising. Y'all are definitely athletes and really exercising, but it says Robstown proud, right? And it just, when we think of all the great things that just you and your classmates do there in Robstown, but we need one that says Nueces proud, because you're representing our entire county when you're going to these events. And so just know that this small recognition is our way of just putting in the community, the entire county on notice that we have something special in Robstown. And it's not only your team, there's so much more that's going on, but the fact that you are able to commit to this, I can't imagine. I figure your teachers probably give you a pass if you're tired after a 6:30 practice and then have lifted all these hundreds of pounds of weights. But I know that many of y'all are just excelling in your academics as well. So please continue to support your program, support your teammates, continue to make that program known statewide as you have. And just, once again, congratulations. We're so proud of you.
Yes, we all are. Thank you. If you all would like to come up here, we'd like to take a photo with you as well, and we have this resolution to take.
Congratulations, ladies. Good job. Very well done. Good job, Coach.
Yes.
One, two, three. Thank you.
She like a joke. Very good. Thank you. Congratulations, ladies. Good job. Good work, man. Coach, congratulations. We'll see you next year. Congratulations. Are you going? Congratulations.
Next, on our agenda, I think we've cleared the room. We have, in recognition of Autism Awareness Month, April 2024. Francis is going to read that resolution. It's good to see you here, Dustin.
Whereas autism affects an estimated 1 in 36 children in the United States and is a complex disorder that affects each person differently, resulting in unique strengths and challenges. And whereas autism can cause challenges with verbal and nonverbal communication, social interaction, and repetitive behaviors, and can affect anyone regardless of age, race, ethnicity, gender, or socioeconomic background. And whereas autism acceptance means respecting the rights and humanity of all autistic people, it means centering the perspectives and needs of autistic people with intellectual disabilities non-speaking autistic people, and autistic people with the highest support needs, not by speaking over them, but by listening and looking to them as leaders. It means fighting to ensure that the universal human rights of all autistic people are respected, including and especially the rights of those autistic people with the most significant disabilities. Whereas in the month of April, we strive to promote autism awareness, inclusion, and acceptance, and supporting self-determination for all autistic individuals. And now therefore, be it resolved that the Commissioners Court of Nueces County does hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 to be Autism Awareness Month.
And
So
I
moved.
will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Dr. Scott and Dustin, do you, either one of you want to speak on this issue, or Dr.?
Come on.
Come on up. Or both of you.
Good
as
morning.
well, Dr. Scott, too.
Or she can do it, do it too.
You're doing good. You've
All right,
spoken here
okay.
before.
All right, good morning, Judge and County Court Commissioners. I am Dustin Cronin, and I am the founder and president and executive director of this new nonprofit, Creating Connections Piece by Piece. I had been a community activist for autism awareness for about almost 2 years, and we officially became a nonprofit back in July of 2023, so our nonprofit has been a 501c since July, for about 9 months now, and I have had the honor and pleasure to go and speak in front of law enforcement, even with the sheriffs, and speak with county judges, and even at Board of Judges. And we also want to continue our work with the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, and the school districts and all that, and even churches, and to promote all this acceptance and awareness, and to know that we are all equal, and we are all the same, and we all want understanding, and also help people who are in the having trouble communicating through the justice system or through the school districts, or we need any kind of help or anything like that, and also try to grow our nonprofit to help us move forward and do what we need to do and help improve the lives and understand autism, and also understand other intellectual disabilities as well. And I thank y'all for inviting us here to recognize us and everything. And thank you so much, and y'all have a great day. And,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I also apologize for the disturbance of my son a little while ago.
That's a
It's
welcome
all right.
disturbance, Judge. I just wanted to say, Dustin, I wanted just to tell you how impressed I am, and I know we all are, with all the great work you do. We're so appreciative of it. I see your stuff on Facebook all the time, and it's amazing the work that you've done. I was talking with one of your board members, John Martinez, this morning, and I didn't realize he was on your board. You must have been really grasping at straws to get him. I'm kidding, of course. No, I'm kidding, but I really, it's a great thing that you've done, putting this 501c3 together. That's not an easy task in itself. So keep doing the great work you're doing, because you really made a difference in this community, and you really made a difference not only in the cause that you're working for, but to bring such awareness at what people are capable of and what we're all capable of. And as you said, we all are equal. So thank you for what you've done. It really means a lot to this community. You have made a real and true difference. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all so much, and thank each and every one of y'all, including you, Judge, for helping us put all this together, and each and all you county court commissioners for also making this happen here in Nueces County. And we also have 11 board members on our board, but some of them couldn't make it today due to other jobs. And thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We have
What you do.
a proclamation for you if you'd like to get a photo with us as well, Dustin.
All
before
right.
you leave, so, yes, and your board members, if they
All
would
right.
like to join us. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Scott, John, Rob, did y'all want to say anything?
I just want to say thank you for recognizing the mission that Dustin has put together. It takes a village to help our community, people living with disabilities, and he's part of that village. So thank you guys for doing this today.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Okay,
who's on that board? Huh? Yeah.
Hey, John, how you doing, man? Yeah, how you doing, buddy? Doing good?
Your Honor. Always a judge. Once a judge, always a judge, right?
Okay, we're gonna take two. One, two, three. Got it. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Good job, Dustin. Thanks, man. Appreciate you being here.
I saw you there.
Thank you for being part of it.
Keep up the good work.
Good job, sir.
Good job.
Good job. Good job, sir.
Thank you. Great grandson to join the club.
Thank you for your act.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you again for being here, all of you. We appreciate it. Appreciate all the hard work. We're going to be moving on to item G on our board appointments. And let me just clarify before we move too far along. I know in our resolutions and proclamations, we sometimes speak a little bit more, and we're also happy to have kids and people here in organizations. But now we're getting down to the business, and we need the audience to stay quiet, no clapping, no agreeing or disagreeing with anything. So public comment, we have to just listen, we can't comment. So just a reminder that now we're getting down to business. So, yes. On item G1, the board appointments, we have the Coastal Bend Council of Governments, and that was basically to update with staff members that had changed. And I believe there is one opening that could be filled as well. That isn't on there, but we'd like to make a motion
So
to
moved.
accept, yes, we have a motion and a second to accept the positions that are listed on here, just updating our staff members and people that have changed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. And if any of you, since this is employees and staff members, if there's any suggestions or someone that wants to serve on this board in the one opening position, we may look to that in the future, so. Moving on to item 2, the Nueces County Mental Health and Intellectual Disabilities Board. We have 5 open positions. There were 3 letters of intent and 2 new applicants, Aaron Diaz and Nancy Lechner.
Judge, I would move that we reappoint the 3 letter of intents.
We have a motion and a second to reappoint those with the letter of intent. It was Commissioner Gonzalez made the second. Sorry, Lorenzo, if you didn't see that. Yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Judge, I just have a question on the new appointments. I guess for Jenny. I think Mr. Diaz is an outstanding man and applicant, but I'm concerned about the fact that might be some conflicts, a lot of conflicts based on this board appointment. So I just don't want to put us in a position where we appoint an outstanding applicant to someone who can't vote on very much. So comment on that?
It may turn out that if he is on that board and working for the county, I believe he works with Dr. Xavier Gonzalez, he would be precluded from voting on matters that have to do with Nueces County, specifically when he is serving on that board. So that is, he could serve on the board, but he would not be able to vote on matters involving the county.
And how many matters are like, is it predominantly dealing with Nueces County matters on this board?
I have never attended the board or seen an agenda of theirs, but I would imagine that we constitute a significant portion of their business, but mostly what is relevant to the county is what I'd be concerned with on their agendas.
You know, just like everything else, you can abstain, no vote. We happens here in our commissioner's court, you choose to abstain, not to vote, on matters that you want to vote on. And, we have other judges that are on other boards too, the airport board, and then they're on the board, so they can vote in certain things and certain things they can vote. So I don't see any difference here, so.
It's just if you.
Somebody wants to serve, I'm sure that they should be able to serve. Hard to fill some of the positions and, if there's a conflict, we'll know about it later and then we can cross the road when we come to it, but I don't think there's been a conflict at this point, but I just want to say, I think that, anyway, I think we should go with the appointments that,
Well, the problem that arises is we can't do anything about it later, because we have boards now where we have people, and I won't mention names, but that can have to recuse themselves on 75% of what they're on the board for, and I don't think that's a good situation to set up, because there's nothing we can do once we appoint someone. There's absolutely nothing we can do, and you can't remove them, and if you try to remove people, that's really hard, and I don't think we ought to put board members on that are gonna have a significant conflict. That's why I was asking if someone could tell me, and maybe if no one has the answer, we could just table that one or not even table,
Bring it
maybe
back,
bring it
the
back
one
later in the
appointment,
meeting. I mean,
and
I just would
move
like to
forward with
know.
the other.
Yeah, I would just like to know how much it deals with, because I'd put him on any other board in the county because he's a great guy, but I'm concerned about putting him on a board that he might have to conflict himself out on 60, 70, 80%. If it's 10%, and if someone could get me that answer, then that's different. And I mean, it may just be a phone call that we need to get MHID over here to tell us that maybe it's 10%, then I don't have a problem.
I'll make the
but-
motion to appoint Nancy and bring the other one back after we get discussion to the next meeting. Yeah.
Or just later in
I
today.
can probably
yeah.
have that within a
Within a
couple
few
of hours.
hours.
Yeah, I
Then
mean,
we'll
I don't
hold
want
this
to delay
off
it till the next
until-
meeting. I
okay.
just would like to know
I
that.
think so too. I think it's good to hear it today, so.
Yeah, I mean, we can still do it today, but I would second the motion on Nancy Lechner and then just ask if someone could get MHID over
Get
here to
us-
give us some answers on that, then it might be fine.
We have a motion and a second on the Nancy Lechner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and then if you can let me know as soon as possible, we'll bring that other one back on Mr. Diaz. And thank you for being here, Mr. Diaz.
Yeah, because if it's minimal, I'm good. I'm totally good with him. He's a great guy. So I just want to see what the conflict issue is, please.
Moving on to number 3, Nueces County Library Advisory Board. We have 2 letters of intent, 1 new applicant, and 3 open positions. Stephanie Juarez is the new applicant.
I would move appointment of
The 2 letters of intent.
all 3.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
There's 2 letters or 3 letters?
2 letters and
or we can do the
1
reappointment of the 2 letters
There's
first. That's
3
my
openings,
apologies.
so that's, yeah.
That's how we normally do it. You're right. Motion to reappoint the
The 2,
2 existing
yes.
members. Apologize.
Second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Then we had 1 new application and we have 1 opening from Stephanie Flores.
So moved.
We
Second.
have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Moving on to item 4, the South Texas Water Authority. We have 2 open positions and 2 letters of intent. And this one, Commissioner Modas has already stated that he is abstaining from this vote.
Motion to reappoint.
Yes, Judge, I'd like to reappoint Patsy Rogers.
We have a motion to reappoint both. Are you
Both?
just?
No, that's fine.
Okay, okay. We have a motion and a second to reappoint the positions that are serving. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. 1 abstain, the rest are aye. Moving on to public comment. We have Liz Miller.
And 1 on Zoom.
And 1 more on Zoom, Betty.
Every time.
The timer
Liz
on.
Miller,
Yes.
5139 Tomahawk. I put on there that I just want to talk about the one about the animal facility. That's just a request for bid, but the reason why, it doesn't really have anything to do with it. Last night, I was just researching something else, and I ran across Smith County, Texas, just approved temporary ARPA-funded spay-neuter program for their county. And I thought that was cool and just worth mentioning. Didn't know that was even a thing you could do. And they said COVID kind of backlogged them, and they thought it was great. I thought I'd bring it here. Then I saw Carolyn Vaughn here, and I forgot there was something else on here. It's Hilltop. And that first one was amazing. The $25,000 gazillion one, the first one. I remember Judge Canales, she said, Brent, just let us dream. And it was perfect, wonderful, and it was expensive. And this new one, everybody has nostalgia on Hilltop. And it doesn't really capture the nostalgia, and it doesn't give enough to the new generation for them. So I think her and Pusley are the ones who kind of came last time and mentioned that, and I echo the same. And that's it.
Thank you. Victoria Holland.
Thank you so much, County Judge and Commissioners, for your time. I'm also here to talk about the proposed renovation of the Hilltop facility. Looking at the plans, it looks like it might be about a third of it that gets renovated, and an addition, which, you know, definitely is needed, but then it looks like we're still left with a lot of sprawling space with the same problems. Then we get to the other side, which is that wipes out $10 million. And that seems to wipe out all of the ARPA funds, I think, that are left for District 1. I could be wrong, but that is what it looks like. I live in District 1. You know, we love our parks. We have major drainage issues. There are a lot of needs that we have, and I'm not saying that this Hilltop project couldn't be a great project, but at no point were there any info sessions. You know, I don't think there's any community involvement. As someone who's here, you know, we want to be involved. We care. We care about our community. And looking at this, I just feel like it doesn't seem like the community's interest or input was taken into consideration at all. Certainly not our other needs. You know, I do know that the previous county judge, she had a grand vision, and, you know, I understand if, you know, there's a sense of deep loyalty to the previous county judge wanting to try to bring her vision to pass. And, you know, I'm certainly not going to put down the intent of anyone involved in this. But wiping out $10 million, potentially adding on more certificates of obligation for a project when we have major needs in District 1. I really wish we'd have more transparency and more community involvement in this. And I really wish that I understood better why this project is so much more important than our parks, than our drainage issues, than other major, you know, or smaller renovations that could happen that could be more cost effective. You know, at the end of the day, I think, you know, I thank Commissioner Hernandez. I know he's trying his best. I thank all the commissioners here. I know that you all are in your seats because you care deeply about your communities and you want to make this a welcoming and wonderful place for everyone who lives here. Putting all of your funds into one basket that benefits only a very, very small percentage of your district and leaves the rest kind of out to dry doesn't seem like the best solution there. And I could be wrong, but I would like to be proven wrong with more information and a chance for the community to get involved. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Carolyn Vaughn.
Carolyn Vaughn, 4214 Spring Creek Drive. First off, when asked about the Hilltop project by the media, Commissioner Hernandez said, if I can be truthful, it is political season, you know. You've had two former commissioners sitting in this office who never did anything for Hilltop, okay? First off, I'm not political. My being up here is not political. I'm not running against you. I'm here because I truly care about the project, and I'm a citizen and I'm a voter. You work for us, and we have a right to voice our opinion. In this day and time, people want to believe the politician representing them. They want to trust the media, but unfortunately, so many don't tell the truth. That's one of my pet peeves is honesty, dishonesty. So when I hear something that's untrue and misleading from a politician, I want to set the record straight. When I came into office, the previous Commissioner Pusley had a couple of projects that weren't completed, and they were good projects. One of them was the boat ramp at Hazel Baysmore, and he'd already done some things out there. The other one was at the fairground to honor Mrs. Berry. We also added some things at the Officers Memorial outside of the courthouse that enhanced what had already been done. The previous court did that, and we needed to do it because money had already been spent. That's just a courtesy. And so many commissioners before have done the same thing because government taxes take twice as long to complete anything, and out of courtesy, you do it. When I left, several projects were completed, but not all of them. One was Hazel Baysmore. We had torn down the bathroom, built new ones, new playground equipment. More was left to do, the dog park, splash pad, so many other things. And Hernandez, you completed that. I think it's completed. Most of it has been anyway, and that's just what you do. Those were projects that were already on the table. When I got to Commissioner's Court, it was mandated to make Hilltop ADA compliant. The court did that. They didn't have any choice. It was a ridiculous amount of money that was spent, but the building's so old it ended up costing more. And we tore into one of the rooms and found asbestos, renovated that. Then the plans were put into place to either renovate or build a new building for Hilltop. That was a project that was already into place when you took that seat. And even the architect that was hired, I think it was Richter or something like that, he understood that that building had some good bones and that we could probably use the concrete. But he understood that building needed to be torn down. It was basically a project with a new building with some preserved infrastructure. COVID hit when we were in the process of those projects, so it moved very slow and pretty much shut us down. It's a shame that so much time has passed without any action because it only drives up the price. It's been 3 years now. Wow. Even if you were to use the $9 million to remodel, you can't do it all, and you'll have a remaining structure sitting there, and it's going to take decades before you get money again because the county doesn't have any money, and you have so many projects that need to be done. And there's no telling what you're going to run into the problems that are going to be in that building. It always takes more money to remodel. I hope you will think about this, that the citizens deserve a new building. They do. Make it smaller, easier to maintain. It will be energy efficient, no acoustic problems, which we have now. The ceilings are extremely low. It's an ugly building. I'm sorry, it is. It's had its usefulness. You don't continue to keep pouring money into something that doesn't work. When you have a vehicle that's broke, hey, we have all these projects here at the county that need to be done that we've thrown money into. The elevator's an example. We should have replaced them before. This is a decision for the entire court. Please don't be stuck in the past. It's a new generation. It gives us more modern options. Be a forward thinker. I believe there are at least 3 of you on here that realize that, and you'll make the right decision. And hopefully, Commissioner Hernandez, with the time that you have left, you can get some new projects of your own to do, and either you'll complete them or the next county commissioner will. Thank you.
Thank you. Trudy Murphy.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me, Commissioner Gonzalez. I spoke with you the other day. I saw in the news that Nueces County Social Services is going to be closed due to misuse of COVID funding, and I felt that I needed to speak out. I applied with Social Services twice, and I was denied because I did not qualify. First time was in 2021 because my son was living with me and did not want to contribute to the household expenses, so I did not qualify. The worker at Social Services gave me the flyer to apply with Texas Homeowners Assistance. And this is the one, and you can see I took notes when I was talking to him. This was not ERP money. The second time was because I had already received assistance during the year and did not qualify. Social Services does not hand out money to anybody if they don't qualify. They're very strict, ask for a lot of documents to make sure you qualify. I don't know of anybody else that helps with mortgage, electric, or water like they do. I believe social services is getting set up, and because someone else messed up, social services is being blamed, and that's a joke. I saw an article in the news from 2021 saying that the city got 18 million in grants to help with rent. Anyone that ever dealt with social services or got help with them knows that it's not true. And anybody that needs the help, such as us elderly people, will have nowhere to go to get assistance like it is provided at social services. Other agencies in town do occasionally have money to help, but they run out of funds very quickly. If social services was not involved in this, the people that are aware they are not involved should not worry about saving face and should make it public and known that they were not responsible for what the news says. The whole scenario is an outrage. You all need to reconsider your decision and take into consideration all the people that are losing their jobs and the help you're taking away from the low-income and elderly community. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe online we have Betty Cranford.
Yes, ma'am. Betty Cranford, 3802 Wilmot. Please keep in mind that Hilltop is a community center. We do not need a Taj Mahal, nor do we need another building such as the fairgrounds or the community center. The event center needs have been met with the fairgrounds in Robstown, the American Bank Center in Corpus. Mike Pusley referenced tearing down the building. However, the structure was certified as being structurally sound. I know that $2 million was previously spent. $2 million was previously spent on updating for what? An ADA cement ramp that you had to have for compliance, bathrooms, and a walking nature trail that few use. While pretty when it was constructed, the trail was and is a waste of funding as it is not utilized to its potential. You will have to address the disposal of mold and asbestos, whether it is demolished or renovated. Why not keep the certified structure, knock out the walls, and turn it into a modern facility? I will tell you that Pusley has excellent taste. However, I know him well, and his tastes are exquisite. He would tear it down, build a smaller, exquisite building. While it would be beautiful, it would not be practical to meet the needs and use of the citizens. One addition that is lacking would be a space large enough to be able to host a large group for meetings, wedding receptions, community award ceremonies, etc. This is where I hope that Commissioner Chesney will be our cheerleader and will support the needs of the citizens. And believe me, I've spoken with many. It is my hope that he will be active by supporting the community center with the certified structure over demolition. The building has a history of the entire community coming together to help stock the hospital with staff, equipment, and supplies. Let's not change the purpose of the building. It is a community center. Let's keep it as one that's available to the community and at affordable costs. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here that wishes to speak on public comment that did not have the opportunity to sign in? Or anyone online that I've missed? Thank you. Then that ends our public comment section. Moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that any commissioner wishes to pull from the consent agenda for further discussion?
Judge, I have a Q.
Q, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
I have J and L.
J and L.
Judge.
And H.
I'm sorry.
And H.
And H, okay. Commissioner Chesney, anything?
Yeah, I was actually going to make a motion to table Q because Scott Harris's backup did not get in apparently, and so that item needs to be tabled. Because I'm not sure how that didn't get in there, but so that needs. I was going to make a motion to table that one.
If you have some backup, that shouldn't be in regular agenda though?
It's just an update.
I know, but I'm saying. if
That's not it's not a discussion, it's just an update.
It's a consent agenda,
Right, because it's just an update.
so I'm gonna have updates on regular agenda.
Well, you can put them wherever you want. I'm just, when it's an update, it's not an action item.
I thought we had decided that last time.
Excuse me, Judge. I
So-
think,
Just a second,
Anyway,
everybody,
That's
okay.
fine. I just wanna-
It is Commissioner Chesney's item if he has a motion to table his item.
The motion to table is because there is no backup, and that's the
Because there is
policy of
no
the court.
backup.
And somehow that did not get put in, so that needs to be, as per our policy, tabled. So that's why I'm making a motion to table.
Second.
We have a
Judge.
motion and a second to
Judge,
table. Yes,
if I
sir.
may say, I think you had made a motion one time that, talking to Commissioner Chesney, that Bob Hall Pier does not belong on consent agenda.
We did. We had a major discussion about that, and the county attorney advised us that it was fine. My problem with it is we were passing an agenda item that had nothing on it, so it was no harm, no loss, but there wasn't really anything on there. So, but that discussion was had that he could have it on there. The motion on the floor now, and there should be no other discussion, is to table item Q by a motion by Commissioner Chesney, seconded by Modas. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed, same sign.
To the next meeting.
He puts it on every meeting, so. Are there any other items besides J, L, and H to pull for comment, further discussion, sorry?
H, J, and
H, J, and L is good. So I will accept a motion to pass the consent agenda excluding items J, L, and H.
Motion to approve with the exception of those excluded.
I'll
Second. Sorry.
That's fine.
My bad.
Commissioner Chesney's good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
Abstain? Okay. Moving on to item H, authorized payment of bills, group health insurance claims. This was you,
Yeah,
Commissioner
I just
Gonzalez,
have a
I'm
question
sorry.
on maybe the Dale or somebody. Have we got any big bills from the insurance, Boom Chapman, that we have to pay? Or are we, I don't know where we are, we haven't gotten a report as far as what their expenses have been, and we're looking at something that's, something's gonna be significant for the budget or not? I haven't had any reports, what we're spending, how much we're spending, and who or what.
These items are our health insurance claims out of our group health insurance funds. These are, group health insurance is not a budget item because of the routine nature of this. These items are managed and processed through our third-party administrator, Boone Chapman. They revise and review every expense they had. A lot of this information, if we need to discuss this, would have to be in an executive session because of HIPAA rules. So these are balances that are definitely a third-party administrator oversees and maintains and manages and works with myself, and we're working with Tim and HR to go through this, and now they're working with our consultant that we just recently hired.
Okay, so all I'm asking, is there any big bills or not?
There's only a few big bills of $220,000 for a medical center. There's also some larger bills for another script care, which is our health, our prescriptions.
Okay, 220,000 for what, Bill? I'm sorry?
On page 3 of 5, you'll see there's a
The
200.
check registers are on the agenda for those bills, yeah.
Okay.
It just doesn't
Yeah.
have any names because of the HIPAA
Right,
laws
I'm
until-
understanding.
Yes, yeah.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
I'd like to change my vote from J, on J,
Uh-huh.
to I.
To I,
Yes, ma'am.
Which one?
on
J?
the previous H.
Q.
That was the consent, a whole consent agenda that you did abstain on,
Oh, okay, I'm
excluding
sorry.
J,
Yeah,
H,
that
and
was,
L.
okay, I apologize.
So you want to vote yes on the consent agenda, excluding J, H, and L?
Well, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you did say all of Q was just a report. an
Q
update.
is tabled.
Q was tabled, there wasn't,
Oh, it
you
was
didn't,
tabled.
you didn't vote to pass
Oh,
Q, it was
that's right.
tabled,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't have any extra other bills that we haven't, that are not recorded here that we don't know about. They're coming up.
What was the question? I didn't hear it.
I don't want to make sure we have any bills that are not recorded that are coming up that, for budget time, but are we okay then with Boom Chapman?
Again, this goes to our Fund 10, which is our self-insurance fund. We provide premiums from our funds to cover the costs here. We are managing with McGriff as our new consultant for our health insurance. They work with Boone and Chapman as well as Script Care to make sure that the claims do not exceed this. If there's any large claims pending, they definitely let myself, the judge, and Tim know of some coming, so we would need to provide additional fundings. The largest bills we've seen here are to locations, for example, I saw one for Spawn for the old buildings, one for Script Care, which is our prescription company. So most of these are very, very minor in level, and we've not been informed. I've not been informed, but Tim may have been, but I've not been informed of any large pending at the moment.
We have not gone over our budget for this fund yet this
No,
year.
no.
That we transferred, so.
No.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right, I'll move.
We have a motion to pass. I'll second that motion. All those in favor for item H, authorize the payment of bills of group health insurance, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. On item J, receive personnel action reports, new hire reports, personnel action separation reports.
Just, Mr. Sally, just, what I like
To
to.
come up to
Can you
the
come up
microphone
to the
if they're
mic, please?
asking you,
Okay,
please.
let me ask you a question. First of all, I want to thank you for giving us that report that we hadn't gotten for a while, the personnel action separation report.
Yes, sir.
But I like to, if possible, go back to the old way we used to have it before, because it kind of explains the whole thing. Because it tells us actually what department and where is it going to, and the difference in pay and everything else. If you look at the one before this, you know, if you can look at it, maybe be with me later. I think that maybe we can go back to that one. It's more self-explanatory. I wouldn't have to call you so many times, but if we can group it together, you know, by departments, you know, the new hires, the determinations, or the, you know, separations, I think it'd be a lot easier to having to turn from page to page to page. So, but if you can get with me afterwards, I just, you know, but I appreciate you providing one, I really do, because we haven't had one, okay?
Yes, sir.
So if you can get with me afterwards, I'd like to just kind of go over it with you.
I'm currently working with the county auditor's office with the implementation of Workday. That report that we used to receive is no longer available, and we're currently trying to determine the best way to provide the report to the court. But we wanted to get information to you as we're statutorily required to do so.
Like Workday's getting rid of all the good stuff we used to have.
Yes, sir.
Going back.
Yes, sir. Understood.
All right, well, anyway, I'll get with you on that. I really appreciate the fact you provided at least a report.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
So moved.
We have a motion to pass item J. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. And then item L, ratify and adopt amendment number 1 to the contract with the Texas Property Assessed Clean Energy Savings Projects Authority.
I pulled that one out.
This is no cost to the county.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah, it's no cost to the county, yes.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to our regular agenda, we are
Judge,
going, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Quickly, if, I did get my answer, and I'm good with, if we want to go back to the mental health board, it has been relayed that there shouldn't be any issue with conflict, so if that's okay with you, can we go back and appoint Mr. Diaz? On the,
Yes. Okay, going back to our, And I got a message from Mike Davis as well, saying that it isn't a conflict, but he was going to check with his attorneys, but he says that it's not. They have many members serving, so.
Second?
Yeah, what motion, which
Sorry,
item
it
was
would
that?
be G.
Two.
G4.
G2.
G2, sorry, G2.
And Aaron Davis, we have a
Yes.
motion to appoint Aaron Davis.
Diaz.
Diaz, sorry, I'm said Mike Davis, and now I'm going back, sorry.
Being called worse before.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Aaron, for applying, and we appreciate you serving.
And thanks to the court for the time to be able to do that. I appreciate that.
Yes. Now, moving on to our regular agenda, we have a presentation on the role of the Coastal Bend Disaster Recovery Group as it pertains to Nueces County. This was pertinent right here coming into hurricane season. We felt like it was a good time to bring this presentation. We appreciate all our community partners and the help that they give us in these times.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge, and thank you, Commissioners. You stole what I was going to say. We're getting close to hurricane season. We're being told by a lot of that this could be a very serious season this year. I just wanted to get around to the different counties, remind them that we exist, that we have a MOU with the county of Nueces County, and what we do and
If you could speak a little bit more
I'm
into the
sorry.
microphone, I'm sure, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
As you know, that Coastal Bend covers the 11 counties of the Coastal Bend region, and that's because disasters do not stop at county lines. Typically, when we have a disaster, they end up covering multiple counties. Next slide. So what is long-term recovery? We start about after FEMA closes. It can last from 5 to 10 years. We focus on long-term solutions to the unmet needs of the survivors. It requires thoughtful and strategic planning and actions to address more serious and permanent impacts of the disaster. It's intended to increase the resiliency to the community whenever possible. So as you can see in this graph, we're at the end of the cycle. Next slide, please. What is an unmet need? An unmet need is a basic, safe, sanitary, and secure need that is disaster-related and the survivor is unable to obtain because they lack either part or all the resources to obtain that need. So where we come in is after you've already exhausted your FEMA, your insurance, all that type of stuff, all those things that you have, we're here to help people that lack those resources and wouldn't recover without our help. And that's actually, that picture I always like to show somebody is not disaster related. That's what we call deferred maintenance. So, in that picture. So we would not be helping somebody with deferred maintenance like that. Next slide, please. Who receives assistance from CBDRG? Our clients include homeowners who are considered low income or socially vulnerable, the elderly, single head of household with minor children, somebody that's disabled, or honorably discharged veterans. Next slide, please. When do we respond? Coastal Bend Disaster Recovery Group activates when there is a federally declared disaster and individual assistance has been approved. Since 2015, when we started, we responded to the flood in Nueces and Jim Wells County, obviously Hurricane Harvey, and then of course the winter storm of 2021. All right, next slide. So just to show you or to remind you of the impact that CBDRG had with Hurricane Harvey, we were able to obtain $54.7 million in total resources for our clients. We were able to, 424 of our clients received new homes. And that's kind of the breakout down. 147 of them were clients that received general land office homes. But we actually built 81 homes and replaced 79 manufactured homes. All right, next slide. So we have just recently moved. We're actually on Shoreline here in Corpus Christi. We just moved from our Sinton office. And we are in what we call blue skies mode, which means that we are waiting for the next disaster. We are a nonprofit. We don't receive any government funding, and we rely on grants and donations. So I'd like to introduce Alex Garcia. He is our board president.
Commissioners and County Judge, first of all, thank you for allowing us to be here to speak to you today. As everybody knows, everything that we're seeing today from all the reports that are out there is that we're going to have a very active hurricane season without a doubt. Probably one of the most from everything that from all the experts, from all the meteorologists and everything we're hearing today is that we anticipate probably 27 named storms of some sort. And when you break that down, they're saying they're probably going to have 8 major storms. As you all know, we're in that cone. The reason Coastal Bend Long-Term Recovery and what we've done is it actually have a nonprofit organization. When you step up to the plate and you say, hey, my community has a disaster at hand, where can we go and who can manage those dollars? Well, what we've been able to show you is that through not only through the existence of the Coastal Bend Long-Term Recovery, just because of mere existence, we actually, through our 501c3, are able to receive donations, take those dollars, work with other organizations who are our partners. And the one thing that we've done is collaborate with them coming in there. The Mennonites have been phenomenal in helping us. You saw earlier how many homes we've actually built and how many families we put in mobile homes. I will tell you is that it's about helping them get back on their feet at the end of the day, because we serve so many different counties. And we're there. We weren't only there during Hurricane Harvey. We were there in the prior winter storm, and we were there during the freeze when we had so many residents that got affected with pipes. We get calls to say we have volunteers that are willing to help. Hopefully we serve as that conduit to try to be able to serve the counties that are in need and those homeowners that are in need, because at the end of the day, that's our responsibility. And we feel very vulnerable, and they feel very vulnerable to not having an organization. I'm fortunate that I'm able to serve as president of the Long-Term Recovery Group. Dee is on our board and can't thank her enough. And then we're out there talking to all emergency managers. As you all know, that we have a hurricane conference coming up. We're participating in that as well, because at the end of the day, it's about preparation and making absolutely sure that our constituents understand is that there is an organization that's out there. I have a couple of flyers that I'll have distributed to you. The number one, it shows you that your donation is an investment to our resiliency for this county, and we can't thank you enough for listening to us. And not only that, we'll be back to tell everybody how to prepare. Make sure that you've got all the essentials that are necessary, and we can't thank you enough for what we do. We're always looking for support. As we know, when it's blue skies, it's the hardest time to raise funding to be able to continue, but we also understand the importance of existence, so we're reaching out to all our regional counties.
Just to clarify, just for our listeners or anyone else, because I know those donations during those times are critical for us and able to enable us to help our citizens. The money that comes in specifically for Nueces County, when you say you support all the surrounding, that money stays in Nueces County for our Nueces County residents.
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. What happens is that we earmark it so that we understand that the donor dollar is going to go to where their intent is.
Yes.
And so we're very cautious with that.
Just wanted to
sure.
be clear
That's right.
for donors out there if you're in the future thinking of doing something. So,
Absolutely.
yes.
And if anybody wants to volunteer, as we indicated, when we had over, I believe it was almost $4 million worth when you do labor and volunteer hours. That's how many hours we were able to manage to get some of these homes built as an organization. They reached out to us, and working in collaboration with them, we're able to make those things happen. If you haven't ever seen one of our homes, you're really missing out. We'll make sure that you get invites so you can see the work that we've done. And I will tell you that when we're out there, when you've lost everything and you're completely devastated and you have nowhere to turn, it's important to have an organization such as us that continues to exist, to be able to know that we are hope for you. And so at the end of the day, we can't thank you for your support. If you like I indicated, there's a scan code on here if you'd like to donate or if you'd like to make any type of contributions. Our goal is to continue to exist and be there for the next disaster, which we know will happen sooner or later.
Yes, it's not if, it's when. Yes,
That's right.
and thank you very much. We
Thank you.
appreciate the collaboration between the emergency management, the hurricane conference coming up, and all the work that you do for this county, much less the surrounding counties as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Commissioners and Judge, I'd just like to remind you that the CBDRG was actually started through Judge Neal and Danielle Hale when she was the emergency manager here. It's very difficult when you have a disaster when you have all these people that want to donate and help out, to have an organization like this to where they can handle it for us. We do have an MOU with them, so when we do have a disaster, we have everything in place. One of the nice thing is through that MOU, it gives us permission to give them the names of the FEMA people in our Nueces County, so they can contact them and help them out through the monies that we raise through the CBDRG nonprofit. So very important organization for our county.
Thank you. Thank you for serving on there as well. So appreciate the update. Moving on to item number 2, discuss and consider approval of an interlocal agreement between Nueces County Drainage District 2, and the City of Robstown. Commissioner Modas, do you want to, this is your project?
Yes, Judge.
On the,
Just a little bit of background. It's hard to imagine that we had any rain events within the last year or so that were strong enough to wash out one of our county road bridges. But one was on County Road 44, just west of Business 77. And that is located just inside my precinct. It's pretty close to Commissioner Hernandez's precinct. But the problem came out is that this bridge, which they're the small span bridges, they're typically the wooden or the small concrete bridges. They're not anything like at the Harbor Bridge nature, but this bridge was washed away. It is a dual-owned bridge between Nueces County Drainage District 2 and the City of Robstown. Well, like everyone's strapped for cash, right? And it's difficult to be able to fund even you would think the most basic of problems. They had the issue. We had the funding through ARPA. And so this is just really moving forward on this item. And so I asked for the court's support today to approve this interlocal agreement between the County Drainage District 2 and City of Robstown using ARPA funding allocated to my precinct for improvements to the bridge on County Road 44. And that is my motion, Judge.
yes.
Second.
I'll move. Oh, you got it.
We have a motion and a second and a third. Yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 3, discuss and consider waiver of Chapter 63 of the Natural Resources Code limited to the proposed projects in Port Aransas. Scott Cross, I see you up there.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval, but if y'all have any questions or any details, I'm gonna pull Christine up here because she worked directly with Alex on all the heavy lifting on this one.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes.
Jenny, Alex is amazing.
Thank you.
We agree, she's essential.
Hey, Christine.
You have had no complaints out of any of us. Item number 4, Commissioner Modas, your American Rescue Plan Act funds for the Boys and Girls Club precinct is just a update. There is no action or anything on here. I know you wanted to say. a
Right,
couple
Judge, yeah. Originally, we had planned to kind of get all the ARPA projects lined up at this meeting, and some have kind of been delayed slightly, just wanting to get further buy-in from the City of Robstown on this. This is a Robstown building. Once again, there's a need for funding. There's some programming that's going to be included that will benefit the community. And I know, looking, seeing Edward, we have our ask, which is emergency services when needed, right?
Correct. We used that to give vaccinations, testing. We've used it as a cooling, warming in conjunction with the city, our partners there with the City of Robstown. So
That would help alleviate using the Ortiz, or using the facility at Ortiz Park.
Or the fairgrounds.
Or the fairgrounds.
Or the fairgrounds.
So.
There is no action.
There is
or
no action,
anything,
it's just an update. We're just waiting for council to kind of finalize and agree. And I was told earlier today that they are moving forward with support of this. So I think we'll have it by the next meeting, and everything will be supported by their community. And then we have the funding source to help rehabilitate the building, and then programming hopefully within a year or so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 5, receive an update on the American Rescue Plan Act ARPA fund balances for the individual precincts, county judge, and countywide projects. And this is just an update also. There is no action on this, so thank you for being here.
Of course.
Yes.
Happy to be here. Good morning. I have Lulu with me too. First, I was going to cover some information that we've learned from Treasury, and then we'll go over some balances for the projects that GrantWorks is helping manage. And then Lulu has some things to go over as well. So first off, Treasury has released some new information that is really helpful. So after the December 31st, 2024 obligation deadline, counties have the option to reclassify excess funds from one eligible project to another one. So a good example in this case would be, and the National Association of Counties has shared these examples in a presentation, and so I'm just highlighting them. So one of the examples was a county allocated funds to a surface transportation project that was under budget, thereby freeing up previously obligated funds. So if we have a project that comes in under budget and we have more money left over, we can then put funds over to an ongoing project after the obligation deadline. This is great news.
Does the project have to be completed so we make sure those are excess funds, or is it just after it goes out for bid and we're going to have excess funds?
There are some exceptions, so it would be, I don't think that the project would have to be absolutely completed, but if we have, so for all of the projects, we're gonna have to have that construction contract, right? So if there's maybe a contingency that doesn't get used up, any sort of funds that are left over, then at that point, we could move it over to another eligible project. Another example that they also highlighted, which was useful, it says, an auditor in a county's 2024 single audit identifies that a project is not eligible. The county may withdraw SLFRF funds from the project and reclassify the funds to a workforce training program that the county had initially been financing with local funds, but it is eligible under SLFRF. The county can use the excess funds to finance this program so long as they incurred an obligation by entering into a contract by the deadline December 31st, 2024. So there are some flexibilities here with this clarification.
And can I ask, Judge?
Yes, please.
So I need to dig into that a little bit more. For the majority of the time we've had the ARPA funds before this year, this court was told, as long as it's spent by 26, we were good. Then, lo and behold, very shortly after the first of the year, we were told everything has to be under contract by the end of 2024. And I know you're doing some clarification. So that doesn't really make, I'm not saying there's logic in everything that's done in life, but that doesn't really make sense because that's a 2-year difference. So I could see if they said you had to have it under contract by the end of 25 and spent by 26 maybe, but to have a 2-year gap, how do we get some equivocal something like, has the county attorney reviewed this? Have y'all, because it's really made us all scramble in a mode that we didn't anticipate, right? And I'm not trying to speak for everybody else, but I've heard basically rumblings. We're all sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, we've got until the end of 26. So we got to get it done. And then all of a sudden we've got till the end of 24. I mean, I've got at least 3 projects that I'm sweating because of that deadline. And I want to make sure that deadline is hard because I'm not going to let up on my projects, but it's just hard for me to understand why they would say it has to be under contract in '24 and not has to be spent until the end of '26, because there's a lot of projects that can be done in 6 months. Some of the ones I'm working on are a little bigger, and some of the other commissioners and judge. So how do we really get like a legal opinion or just something that says, absolutely, that's the, you know, what do we do here? Because it's just hard for me to buy this.
The guidance, I think, they would agree, is not clear. That may be by design, or that may be because they're dealing with, you know, various states with various laws, and so they're intentionally not clear. I don't know. But we have seen the same update. We're in the same spot. We're constantly talking with Tramer, Wojtek, I can't remember his last name, but, we're all in the same boat, dealing with that very vague guidance.
And read the rule again that says we have to have it under contract by '24, or read the guidance or the clarification or whatever, please.
So the clarification is that the counties have the option to reclassify excess funds from one eligible project to another one.
Right, but
That's the
where's the thing that
clarification.
says we have to have it under contract by the end of '24? That's
Yeah.
what I want to hear, like, that's what I want to
Sure.
see.
I can get you a screenshot or show you specifically in the final rule where it says that. There are a few things that are very direct in the final rule, right? And that's one of them, is this deadline of having it under contract. I'd be happy to get that to you.
Yeah, if you could circulate to the whole court, I'm sure we'd all like to see
Sure.
that, because it's really put us in a bind, and then,
Yeah.
but, yeah, and if you could even snag that before the end of the meeting, it would be nice, because I'd really like to see it while we're sitting here, and everybody, I'm sure everybody would too, because, I mean, I'm not gonna quit working under that premise, but
Yeah, because
Yeah,
we were
I mean,
previously told it was under obligation if we obligated by
Right.
court authority. Now we're saying we have to sign a contract. So is that definitive, I think, is where the question is, yeah.
And when did it become, when did that clarification, was that a rule that was out there forever? In all of this, and we just weren't told the right information?
Since 2022 was when the final rule was put out.
And so that was put out as part of the final rule in 2022.
Yeah.
And
We just heard about it.
we just got, notified of it. Not, and I know we changed contractors for reasons, and that may be one of the reasons, but, okay, yeah, if you could get me that, that'd be great, because I haven't seen that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Jessica Johnstone is actually on Zoom. Jessica, could you screenshot that and pull that from the final rule?
Yes, absolutely. If you can hear me okay, I had actually just sent a message asking. I didn't know the rules if I could jump in here, but I will. I'm at my desk, so I'll shoot you an email or put it in the chat here, whatever's easiest. It's going to be a lot of information, but I can try to take some excerpts.
Yeah, I'm just looking for something definitive that says that, and just send that, if you can just send that to everybody on the court, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to include FAQs, and it's worth noting, this is a quite large document that they've been updating since 2021. They
Well,
make periodic updates to
Yeah,
these.
don't send
so
me the
this
whole,
most recent.
Yeah, don't send me the whole update,
allowance.
just send me the highlighted version that says that. I don't,
Right.
I don't want the 100-pager, I just want the one, the wherever it is in there that says we have to be under contract by the end of '24, please.
Okay, that'll be very easy. Can I send it to everyone on court since we're all?
Sure.
Yeah, just maybe
since there's a quorum
copy
present?
everyone, so there's no problem with the reply all or something, but.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to add anything to that? No? Okay. You want to say something?
No,
Edward?
the question we were discussing.
Oh,
whether
okay.
That's a new project or that's just.
Existing.
Can you just speak in the microphone, Edward?
Okay, so the question was, does it have to be an existing project or can it be a new project? And no, it would have to be an existing project. It would have to be an existing obligation as of December 31st, 2024.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
So Commissioner, so like, we've
In the
got,
microphone, please.
so in, what we're gonna approve today is the judge's project over there at Hilltop Oil Belt, which is the park project. So we have $3 million worth of what we're gonna cover, but we've got another $400,000 worth of ask. So if there's another project that fails to make in '25, they can give us the
It's
money.
completed, with money left over.
Yes,
We could take that.
if the court voted to, the court would have to vote on any of those, yes,
Right.
anything. And that's just an
transfer
example,
the
we're
money.
not asking for that.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, so I was going to talk quickly about the projects that GrantWorks is helping manage and some of the unallocated funds currently. Jessica and I have been working really closely with Lulu and Anna, who are fantastic, and we have loved working with them. We have decided that it may be best if we set a deadline to allocate funds to certain projects. So we are hoping to set that deadline for May 8th for court. So if judge and commissioners, if you could get all of your allocations or unallocated funds allocated in May 8th court, that would be really helpful so that we can then move forward and get these projects rolling before the deadline. If we could move forward with that, then after May 8th, any unallocated funds would be best to be put into ongoing projects at that point.
And didn't we have June as our, didn't we talk about June before? Because we had, I mean, May 8th is fine because I know the procurement process and Michael has told us that was going to be cutting it close, so.
Thought it was
if-
August. He wanted them by August. Michael wanted them by August or six.
To go out, already approved in
Yeah.
here with the design and everything because of the contracting purposes.
Yes, so to clarify, my request was that I have approved plans and specs and permission to bid by the beginning of August, so that we could
Yes.
have the bids be out on the street for at least around 3 weeks to a month if necessary, and then come back for conditional selection and execute that contract before Thanksgiving. That was the time frame that we were talking about.
So this would help you if we have this done by May 8th. It would help get us to that deadline on your behalf as well.
I won't speak to the money side. As long as I get specs and plans and approval to bid, I'll go with that.
Okay. We can shoot for that date. No promises.
Yes.
Yeah. Amanda?
Sure.
Are you just referring to the balances for each court member that they
Yeah.
have not allocated?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
So that May 8th date would help in that aspect with bidding, because as some of the projects, we still need work authorizations for engineers, and the engineers need time to work on their designs, and Michael needs all of that in order to complete his bid packet. So so hopefully, if we could shoot for May 8th, that would be amazing. But if we, spill into June, then as long as we have that deadline in mind, that would be
We gotta
great.
make a motion and pass something that we can all live with and do it. So I don't know what everybody wants to do on that, but
There's no action on this. It's an update. Can we make a motion on doing that? It's just a,
or if there's
Keep
another, I mean,
update.
we could go back to a related item that does have action that's germane. I mean, it's just a matter of getting some deadlines in place that we can all agree to so that we can do it. So I don't know, I'll leave that to Jenny or you to make an
if he tells
interpretation.
me we can do it, I'm good.
I think the court could certainly discuss putting some dates together, but that's correct. This particular item is not an action item. The previous item,
We have some more coming up on the
Okay, you
ARPA
have
funds, so we could do it when one of those come up, on one
Okay,
of our
I'll wait,
action
I'll wait
items.
and see if there's something germane when it comes up.
Yes, uh-huh.
And then everybody can.
One of my projects.
Yeah, I have one
Maybe
too,
yeah.
so we could do it on one of those.
Okay, and I think aren't you using, the next one's got ARPA funds on it, then, right?
But, yeah.
The Driscoll, right?
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, no problem at all. So I'm
sure.
just gonna talk through the
There may be one. on there.
unallocated.
Mine doesn't date.
Countywide, not the individual. You've had meetings with us individually on our account, so is this the countywide?
Yes. I can go through all of them if you'd like, or just the countywide, whatever works. But yes, we try to have monthly meetings with each one to talk through projects. which have been so helpful so thank you for making time for that. So countywide actually doesn't, as far as grant works, managing projects, we have the 3 parks, Ortiz, Amistad Veterans Park, Hazel Baysmore, Nature Storytime Walking Trail, which put in some money for that. MHID, the Mental Health Restoration, the Medical Examiner's Office renovations, Jalen Court Sewer, Jalen Court Roof. All of those projects, we actually had no more unallocated. So those projects took all of that money. But we do have some for each commissioner and the judge, if you guys would like for me to go through that.
That's fine.
Okay, so precinct 1, we have $22,423 unallocated. I do want to preface too, I know that there's been some conversations, we're going to put money here, we're going to put money there. Until it goes to court, I'm not updating the spreadsheet, and then Lulu does not update their database that looks like this. I think you guys have that as a backup, right?
Yes.
So
That's
just
the way
keep
it
that
should
in
be.
mind.
That's the way it
Yes.
should be.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Keep that in mind. But we do keep note of when we hear if things will be moving around. Okay, so precinct 2, we have the unallocated amount as $396,594. And we do have an item in court today for an allocation to the Driscoll Community Center. And then precinct 3, we have $1,997,138. Yes, I'm reading that right.
What is it?
What's that?
2.172 is unallocated.
So I think we're not managing something because this one did not.
He's working on some projects that haven't come to court, but he has several things moving.
Yes.
Yes. So.
Yes, you do, yes.
I have some too, but,
You're just saying of the ones you manage?
yeah.
That's
All
right.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, we have some too, but it's for later.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, and then precinct 4, Commissioner Chesney, we have $210,000. Judge Scott, we have $47,628. And, yeah. Any questions about any of that?
I don't
Lily,
think
did
so.
you want to talk about, I think there were some other projects that need to be moved that we are not managing. Do you want to talk about these?
So good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Okay, I provided a list of projects currently that might be having a remaining balance.
That are countywide, that
That
we
are
go back to,
under
so. there
countywide,
will
that is
be
correct.
Some additional funds possibly to add to some of our projects.
Correct.
Yes. uh-huh.
So,
This is 982,927?
correct.
Yes.
And there might be some tiny lingering amounts, I think there's $3,000 or $6,000 reimbursement that we received from the city of Corpus Christi, I believe, Dale. Do you have more information on that? We got a reimbursement from city of Corpus Christi for health department, premium pay.
We put it back into our bus.
So it's a small amount, but there's just little tiny amounts that could be
Those will come
reallocated
in
to a different project.
handy come August and possibly after our contracts come in, if there's a little discrepancy with the bids coming in, if they're over or something, this may be something we utilize too. And I know we had one project waiting that we wanted to do countywide, another, that possibly the other jail roof that we talked about that we had here, so those
jail-
things will be
county jail roof.
Yes.
So I do want to put it out there, in case we come to the wire as far as any construction is concerned, we can use cooperative agreements, programs to do sort of construction, but they have to meet federal requirements as well.
Is
So
that
there's-
like our master service agreements? Is that different cooperative agreements? What? That doesn't require, if we're in a,
The programs that
into
they
the
require-
microphone, please, because everybody else can't hear.
The ones that they recommend are TIPS or the Houston COG, area COG. So those are
Oh.
procurement boards like the Buy Board.
Yes, like ours.
Those are the ones that they recommend because of their transparency with ARPA. So they've got a lot of ARPA language in their bidding. So-
Okay, okay.
Can I ask while Edward's up there, since we're talking about
Yes.
these ARPA funds? I don't want to, I'm not trying
Go
to,
ahead.
I don't want to get off that topic. I was just going to switch to another related. Okay. So can you tell me real quick, like where we are since we're talking about these ARPA funds on the Parker Pool rebid?
We should be rebidding Monday. So we've
Going
got.
out for bids?
Yes, going out for bids.
And it's open for what, 30 days?
Well, in this case, we're gonna be going 30 days, so we have a lot more time. Last time we went 2 weeks, now we're gonna go 30 days.
Okay.
So
But that bid is ready to go?
it's ready to go. We have interested people that are asking about it, so that's always a good sign.
Yeah, I would hope so. Dang, it's a good project. Okay, all right. So yeah, I mean, that's one of those ones that I'm kind of sweating time-wise like everybody else is, right? Okay.
Okay, thank you, Edward.
Like, you can't get people to bid on it.
Is that all y'all have for us on the update? Thank you.
Yeah, we were looking to see if you guys had any questions, wanted to give an update. We've been working diligently all together. It's been a pleasure to work with everybody. Thank you for having us. If you have any questions, my cell phone number is on my email. Feel free to call me. And yeah, it's been great to work with you guys.
Thank you. We've all met with you, and I am certain we will be having plenty
Yes.
more meetings.
Yes.
Yes, so thank you very much.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Moving on then to item number 6, discuss and consider amending the work authorization number 1 from $67,232 to $105,492 for the new Driscoll Community Center. This is Precinct 1. Commissioner Hernandez, this is yours.
Yes, Judge, it's just that Commissioner Gonzalez, Precinct 2, is in agreement to add
That's
I
in the
can't
next-
hear you.
That's the next one.
Can you speak into the microphone? I'm sorry, nobody can hear you.
Yes, it's, Commissioner Gonzalez agreed to put in some extra funding for Driscoll, the building out there for the senior citizens.
Oh, this is number 6 and 7 are basically on the new Driscoll Community Center project together.
Commissioner Gonzalez doesn't have to help with the additional on this one, because it's already in your 500K that's budgeted. It's the next one, the construction part.
286.
Right.
Yes.
You have funds for this increase already.
Okay.
Make the motion to,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. My only question would be, is this is the one that was contingent upon the deed and the MOU with them, right? Is this moving forward? Is that?
Yeah, we met, and actually, we have a meeting this Friday
Okay, good.
to where we're gonna work out the details. They're flexible on,
So it'd be in contingent that.
And this motion would also be contingent upon that approval and, yes.
A contingent on what approval? Sorry.
We received the deed, the property,
So we still don't have, and that's
We
okay.
still
I got
don't
one.
have
I got
that,
one of
no.
those too.
yes, yes. Everything's contingent upon we receive all the proper documentation, the deed and the MOU with them. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. The motion passes. Then number 7 is when Commissioner Gonzalez is going to transfer $286,087 to the Driscoll Community Center project.
What a nice guy.
I know, I know.
Is it-
Apparently,
the
this
sen- the
is
seniors need
Edward
deserve quality of
because
life,
they
too.
increased a little bit of the size of the community center and some outside parking lot fencing, things like
Gazebo.
that.
Correct.
Yes.
And some gazebo for the seniors.
A gazebo, yes. I couldn't remember
we
that
went
part.
from a modular design to a standing building, which is a lot better.
So do we?
Make
I
a
would-
motion, Judge.
We have a motion. I assume you'd want a
move.
second, since it's
Or
your
second.
money. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 8, discuss and consider adopting additional economic policy guidelines related to Precinct 2 American Rescue Plan Project Community and Economic Development Grants between Nueces County. And this is yours. I think the county attorney has been working on this. Did
Right.
you want to explain some of this, Jenny, for us?
Well, members of the court, I've placed the most current red line on the days for you. There are some inclusions that Commissioner Jag gave to us yesterday that I've tried to include there to the court's satisfaction. This is an important step in distinguishing this program from other less favored programs in the state. And if that court has any questions, if they are too intricate, we'll need to pull it into executive, but any surface level or logistical things I could probably answer out here.
Wait, say that, I'm sorry. Hold on. I got distracted there for a minute.
And this is
Say that again?
directed at Commissioner Gonzalez's
This-
district only, but
Correct.
could be utilized with a changing of wording in there for any other person that wants to use
To
it.
any
Yes,
precinct.
Yes. I wanted to make sure and put that in there
And
because
can we, is there anything holding us from doing that?
No,
I think, while we're here, if it comes up, just get it done once. If this is all the
What is
proper wording, just implement it countywide, because the ARPA funding anyways limited, and that's what it's based on, right? Or does it?
well, the economic development policies need to be implemented precinct by precinct, or at least tracked precinct by precinct. So we do need to be aware of that difference. And I think one of the important factors here is that the funds are from Commissioner's district, and he wants those funds from his district to be spent in his district.
This project that I have.
And so if we implement one for another district, it would be from funds from that district, unless the court as a whole sought donations that would be used for the entire
County.
county.
So it's really a template, again, that we can use. If somebody wants to do it in their precinct, all you have to fill in the blanks, where it says precinct 2, precinct 1, precinct 3, whatever the blanks. All it is really fill in the blank. Policies should be the same.
And I have to give a great shout out to the attorneys in my office who have spent hours and hours on this in a very, very sped up capacity to try to provide this and help get this great project underway.
I am totally, I'm not following this, sorry. So,
You're always lost.
I know, I need Joe to help find me. Okay, so we're
So
related to precinct 2 ARPA funds, which are what ARPA funds? For what project? Is it for a specific
This is
project?
for the Colonia's septic tank replacements.
Okay, and so discuss and consider adopting additional economic policies related to the precinct 2 ARPA project community funds, but this is a countywide, I'm trying to figure out why.
Not countywide.
No.
The one you've been provided is one that we've worked on specifically with Commissioner Gonzalez.
Right.
And as a whole, the county should have a very clear economic development policy, and we're addressing that. But this one is to further articulate the one that we already do have with regard to this specific project in this specific precinct. We
Okay.
can go ahead, if you have areas in your precincts and funds to put towards it, and do this for all precincts.
I guess that kind of goes back to what I was asking, and this applies only to septic because this is the specific project, but could this go to water? I know water's an issue in our colonias as well.
If you have a project, Commissioner, we're happy. This, I think, will be a useful template. If you have a project, we can run it through this analysis. The important thing is we're trying to answer and deal with Texas constitutional issues along with federal law and ARPA. And this, we think, is a wonderful way to serve both purposes.
Can you show where this, in this wording here says specifically?
I think
that-
if
'cause
you're
I'm
looking at the
reading it
printed
and it
out
looks
one.
more county-wide. It doesn't look specific to me.
So the one in your packet, as I said, we have been making edits on this even up till last night. So if you look at the one that was on your desk this morning, let me see if I can find it.
Uh-oh. So
It's a two-page front and back document.
And this specifically, I just was
Okay.
wanting to see where it says,
And this is a document that will you may see changes that you want to implement and not pass this specific document. But on page 2, or the back of page 1, if you look at C, this project is limited to precinct 2. Should Commissioners Court expand the scope of the project, the Commissioners Court will first supplement the terms of the policy with additional precincts, along with a new not-to-exceed amount prior to the commencement of any work, and the precincts will follow the policy contained herein.
Okay, so do you want us to do that? Are you asking us to pass this?
Yeah, gotta pass it.
I think, I am saying that we believe we have found a legally sufficient solution to accomplish the task.
Okay, well, that's what we asked you to do, so it sounds like that's what you did. So I would move passage, assuming Commissioner
Second.
Gonzalez is good with that.
we have a
Good job.
motion and a second for Commissioner Gonzalez. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any,
Jenny, I just want to say thank you to you and your staff. I know you all work very hard and you're overloaded with work, maybe understaffed, but thank you all for your hard work.
Thank you, Commissioner.
If I
did you
may,
vote on, yes, were you
Yes.
good? I don't think I said
Yes,
no for
yeah.
anyway, okay. Go ahead.
if I may add, Jenny's staff did a wonderful job, but Jenny herself did,
Got a tour.
Over and above, yes.
She did
I
the
heard she
tour and
went
she
All
did-
out.
right,
Yes.
we've all thanked
Yeah.
Jenny, let's go. Come
Well,
on.
and I'm especially grateful to Edward for showing me, because when we do things in theory and try to imagine all the negative things we should be addressing, I think going on the tour saves us a lot of time.
Great kumbaya moment. I think we should take note of this.
That's why I didn't go.
All right, moving on.
Kumbaya.
Number 9, discuss and consider adopting criteria and applications for recipients under the Precinct 2 American Rescue Plan Act Colonia Septic System Improvements Project.
That's a test.
And again, Jenny, this meets all legal muster. This is all good to go, right?
Yep.
This meets all legal muster available under the final rule that is available, which we said was vague. We have implemented changes to distinguish this from other unfavored programs in the state. We believe this should be legally sufficient. Now, the application that was included in your packet is also not the most updated application. There are some choice points on the application that the court, Judge Commissioner Gonzalez may have. There is whether the court wants to use LMI or a higher standard for what families will qualify. So there are some decisions on that application that we would ask for guidance from the court.
Today guidance for
Yes.
that stuff? Yes. And my one question I had also, I think I called you on, was to make sure that they had to own the property. And you said the application here says if you answered no to any of the previous, then do not continue to fill out. So that took care of my question. Yes.
Yeah,
And
they're
the-
the owners of the property.
And that's how
Yes.
you all agree that that's how it should stay?
Yeah, we gotta be owners, can't be renters.
My other suggestion would, yes, be in the LMIs.
And-
If you're talking about colonias and stuff, I would.
What was that?
And the LMIs, if you're talking about colonias and stuff, if that be one of the criteria?
No,
No?
no, because we're doing the LMIs with the, CDBG.
CDBG, that
Yeah,
covers all of the
that covers the
LMIs?
LMIs.
So who is eligible in this one then?
Yeah,
Who would that affect?
It's on the application, the criteria of being eligible. It also says about income, it says about members, how many members in the household, and when did you submit the application?
So The one thing we were asking, because there is a portion that talks about the income, and so we were asking for a clear criteria, whether that be LMI or total family income of X amount.
I'm sorry. X
Sir.
amount?
So the court had talked about LMI, but we'd also talked about a different amount that was something above LMI, but not open to all applicants.
Again, what is what meets legally? I mean,
I think it was 75.
For ARPA purposes, there is no LMI requirement. So it could be anyone. It could be someone with acreage and a nicer home than any of the people in the courtroom who would qualify to apply. So that's the decision point, is do you want it to be open or do you want it to be at another level?
well, I think,
we have to be at an income level.
yeah, but where do we set that?
You set a cap at about $70,000.
Total household income of $70,000, is that?
So Commissioners, the issue here is that LMI is actually a scale. So it actually slides depending on
Right.
how much money you make and how many what's the population in the facility. So you could actually be making 70,000 and still be under LMI depending on how many people that you have in your home.
So what do we say a level, or do we just say LMI? I mean, that's what I'm trying to, because, yeah, I mean, we don't need to, I mean, I don't
For
think.
people who own acreage doing that, it's kind of.
How can they be they could be in a colonius and, because a colonius is a designated area, it's not, right? So you could live in a colonius but not really be a colonius, right? Or not really be low income.
The range of homes is very.
It's lack of infrastructure.
No, there's some homes that have swimming pools that have really nice, but that's the one house or two houses and the rest are gonna be.
But if we left this, and you're saying those people would even be able to receive this because ARPA has no guidelines for that.
Correct.
Anyone can, but that's where I think we get into the
Theoretically, they
suggest?
could, but Commissioners,
What do you suggest, Evan?
Commissioner was talking about 75, somewhere around there.
75 total income
Totally
Per
in the household?
per household.
But that's not LMI if you're one person, right?
No.
That's,
But-
that's a nice living.
But again, you gotta compare that to the cost of a system. So the system ranges from $15,000 to $20,000 to install.
Right, but should it be, I don't know,
You can make 75,000.
75,000, but if
Not gonna
if it's a single homeowner making 75,000, that's a good living, so do you want to say 75,000 and four in the household? I mean, are you,
Could we do it that way, Jenny?
I mean, it's supposed to be like people that
To
really
help
truly can't
people,
afford it.
Yes.
And one person that makes 75,000 a year can afford a septic system. But if it's six people that have 70, well, that's a different story, so it's,
This is why the number comes into effect also, the family, how many
Right.
members in the household?
right, so that's what I'm asking, do you want to put that in there too?
No, it is already on there, right? One of the criteria.
Well, right now, prior to this discussion, we just have left it as LMI. And so what we just need guidance, is it 75 per house for total family?
Or
Or
a
do you-
family of four.
Okay.
Maybe do it that way, where you do 75 for a family of four.
Still I don't know.
Then we can make those edits, or you could say LMI plus a certain percentage above LMI.
Mary, what do you want to do?
We're not gonna have very many people over there, over $80,000.
So what do you want, I mean, it's your call, I mean, what do you want to do?
I would stay with 75,000 and.
Okay.
How many members in the household?
Can it be a family of four and 75,000? Is that okay?
Four or more, for 75,000, is that what you want to do?
Well, no, not four or more.
Oh, no. I
But at
mean,
least four, yeah.
No, it could be three. I mean, they're still not making enough money.
That's what we're saying, give them the guidelines you want.
Yeah.
And-
Ginny,
Yeah.
excuse me, do they take things like inflation, take that into consideration? 75,000 really, once you get it, I mean, it doesn't go very far, really.
And that's completely, as long, that what we're asking is that the criteria be clear and open so the applicants understand what they're applying for. So I'm going to make that edit to say, instead of eligible properties should be classified as LMI, I'll change it to eligible properties will have no more than a combined total household income of $75,000 for a family of 4, and then as it comes in, they
Could be
can be
less.
compared.
It could be less, okay.
Thank you, Gene.
And would this be one, since this is all related matters, that we could make a motion to do the allocations by a date certain? Since this is all related matters and it's an ARPA item? Jenny's
I believe
shaking.
so.
Okay, so I guess we need to vote on this, and then can we
And
stay
make
on
your
this
motion,
item?
yeah.
Or whatever everybody wants to do.
Yeah. So with those changes, do we have a motion, those additional criteria,
What-
whatever? We have a
What's the motion exactly so that Lorenzo can get it?
With they have, I think the one says they have to own the property, and the 75,000 household income with 4 members, did we say 4 or 3?
3 members in the household, at least, Joe?
Three.
3 members at least
Alright.
in the household, yes, okay.
Good? That cover it?
That's my motion. Commissioner, you want to second it? It's your deal. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign. And now Commissioner Chesney, you have a motion on the ARPA projects deadline, May.
I'm just gonna say end of May, just to give everybody a
End
little
of
bit
May?
of time. Is
Okay.
that okay with everybody? Is
Yes.
it, Robert, that good? You guys, end of May?
We
Okay.
have them dedicated,
So
the
then I-
funds dedicated.
The motion
yes.
would be that all the members of the court, and if there's any countywide left, that it all has to be allocated by May 31st, 2024. And then I do have, that would be my motion.
I will second that motion, or did somebody already second it? Sorry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Judge, I have one more thing on this, if I
Motion
can.
passes. Yes, sir, Mr. Chesney.
So I'm reading quickly what was sent to me, and everybody, I'm assuming, from Jessica Johnstone on that stuff that we asked for the obligation. So I'm reading this, and to me, it says, under the revised definition of obligation, the term continues to mean, bless you, an order placed for property and services and entry into contracts, subawards, and similar transactions that required payment. So, to me, if we've hired engineers and it hadn't gone out to bid, that would meet our obligation. In other words, I mean, that's to me, right? So to me, this isn't as clear maybe as she articulated.
And I don't know if I received what you have.
Let me see, hold on, if you're on, probably not, so I'll forward this to you, because wait. No, she didn't send it to you, so I'm gonna forward this to you, but basically, I think we need to get that clarified, because that's a big difference, right? Because, many of us have hired engineers and architects on our projects, and so that might meet the obligation, because that means we're having to pay it, and I'm gonna send this to you, but it says, I'll read it out loud again, under the revised definition of obligation, the term continues to mean an order placed for property and services and entry into contracts, subawards, and similar transactions that require payment. So if we've hired engineers and architects for these projects and they're working on them, to me, that's obligated. But I mean, that's where you're gonna have to do a little legal digging. I'll forward this to you. If anybody sees it differently, I'd welcome that, but everybody got this email.
We need a clarification
Yeah.
from y'all, please. Yes.
We include construction too?
Well, I don't know. I mean, because to me, this says if we've entered, it says entering into, it would be contract, sure, for construction, but this says contracts, subawards, similar transactions that require payment. If we've hired engineers and architects, those are contracts. And to me, that would obligate,
Right.
because it may take, like on the one I've got, it could, I mean, I don't know that I'll be under contract for construction, but we've hired the architects, we've hired the engineers, so
Let's talk to
me, that would be
Trammer
obligated.
about that as well and get their opinion, because I know when he was in town last, that was something that he mentioned also to me. So, and if we can maybe get an update that's sent around to all of us, once we have, a clearer opinion on it, whoever we need to talk to. So if y'all could bring that back, we'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay,
That sounds
thank
good.
you. I appreciate her sending that. That's very helpful, and that's what I needed to read, because sometimes I, see things differently. So maybe I do, maybe I don't here, but to me, it sounds like if we've hired engineers and architects, that ought to count.
Good.
I mean, that shows we're spending money.
Sure, yes, I see what you're saying. The issue there is that the contract for the engineer does not also include the amount that will be needed for construction.
But it doesn't say all
So-
that in here. What she sent me, it doesn't say it has to have all that. It just says you have to be under obligation, and they have to, and that's what I'm saying. Now, she sent me the short version, right? All perfectly fair. And so if there's more, and I've read everything she sent me, and I've read everything she's highlighted, and it doesn't say all what you just said. It just says, I mean, I'm reading what obligation means.
She's gonna answer you right now.
What's-
She's gonna answer you.
Right. Is there something
Yeah,
else?
I can clear this up, I think. So, this that I've sent, to clarify, when you've obligated $300,000 to an engineering contract, if it's $1 million project, you still have to obligate the remaining funds via construction.
But you're
And
speculating.
that's just,
You're speculating
yeah.
on this unless you've got something else in writing. I need it in writing. Like, in other words, this says, it doesn't say all of what you're saying. If there's more, then, okay, send me more and highlight it. But what you've sent me highlighted, it doesn't say, it says the term continues to mean an order placed for property services and entry into contracts, subawards, and similar transactions that require payment. And it says, that's it. And so it doesn't say,
I believe we're gonna
all
have
of
to
that.
come back to
Right.
this. You're gonna have to check a
So,
little
okay.
further, and we need clarification
Agreed.
from all of the entities, so,
Okay,
yes.
we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Moving on to item 10, discuss and consider the application
Wait,
process. I'm sorry?
do we do,
Yeah.
we voted on 8 and 9, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Discuss and consider application process for Colonia's residents to apply. And that looks similar to me. What's the difference in this one and the previous one?
This is just an action item. We're asking for the court to go ahead and give us the guidance, or not us in particular, the guidance, but to say that, yes, the applications will open on this certain date, and the court is ready for that to happen.
The application with the changes we made in the
Correct.
previous one,
Yes.
so,
Yeah,
okay.
I agree. It's not
Yes.
much difference between 9 and
No,
10.
yeah.
but Okay,
Okay.
so moved.
We
Second.
have a motion and a second to proceed with the changes from the previous. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. The motion passes.
I
Yes,
just
Edward?
wanted to bring up that we are still gonna be working with Development Services. Dr. Dante with Human Resources is gonna assign a liaison with us so that when we do these applications, that we'll be able to push them through with the health department.
Thank you. Item number 11, discuss and consider approval for method of procurement invitation for bids for the Colonia Septic System Improvements Precinct 2 American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds. And authorize the purchasing agent to publish a notice and related matters.
So moved.
So, second.
We have a motion and a second for, to go out for invitation of bids and for the publishing agent to publish a notice. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes, sorry. Item number 12, discuss and consider allowing Commissioner Joe A. Gonzalez, Precinct 2, to make requests to outside entities for additional funding for the Colonia Septic System improvement. And this would be on top of his $500,000 Precinct 2 ARPA funds to go outside to solicit funds only for Precinct 2 for his projects.
Right.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those.
Wait,
Oh,
and so
yes,
what are we
go ahead.
doing? Okay, so then this is,
He wants to ask for additional funds, but only for his precinct, Colonia's project.
So I can finish the project. I don't have enough money.
What is
okay,
it-
and so
What's the total gonna be to finish it?
I don't know, probably another $1 million.
Wow.
to do the,
If I get, I can match the 500, I get 500, but if I get $1 million, I can do at least 100 homes.
And that's on top of the
No,
CDBG project?
CDBG has nothing to do with it. City totally, y'all keep saying CDBG, but it's
But
totally
it's your
different.
Colonias too,
I know,
so
but-
that's what
but-
I'm leaning, is
but
like,
CDBG
you're doing
is-
2.9 on
The
that, and then you need
CDBG, Judge,
1.5 on this.
CDBG is strictly on the LMI, okay, that we have to work with.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
So,
that's not right.
so
I
we,
was told CBDG has nothing to do with LMI.
no, it has everything to do with
No,
that.
no, I have London. They told me, where's Grant Works? The CBDG stuff, you better, someone
No,
better
no,
clarify this.
No, in this case, if it's on a person's property, it has to meet LMI. So
Okay, wait.
your project can be qualified without meeting LMI, but because we're working
Mine is
on
LMI.
property, it has to, all of these have to be LMI.
So then why wouldn't we just,
So that's why Commissioner, so just to be clear, Commissioner, we're looking at over 567 homes in Commissioner's precinct alone. So of those 567 homes, only 9% are permitted through the health department. We were only able to locate 9% of those permits. So we're going to try to address the remainder. So Commissioner's going to, using his ARPA funds, attack two colonias. So those 2 colonias will hopefully knock out. The remainder, some of that CDBG money is going to be left, again, way back about a year from now, is going to do all the LMI in those same precincts. So then that leaves us with additional homes that we're trying to address that are left out. That's
Wait,
what Commissioner
okay,
I
said.
think also the application states that, in fact, there's a deal there that if they're under the LMI selection, that they would come later.
We put a note on there that
Right,
if the
right.
home has previously
Right,
been awarded some help
Right.
under CDBG MIT, then they would not be included in this application.
but wait,
Nothing's been
okay.
awarded yet. If
So-
they applied, then.
So
yeah.
this, hold on, so I gotta go back to the CBDG, because where did that come from? Because that money was the money we were given by the state on the GLO money, right? That was awarded to Nueces County. So where did this extra LMI requirement come in that I've never heard about before that you're saying? Like, is that right? Is Grant Works?
It's always been
I
there.
mean, no, it hasn't, because in my project,
Is that?
there's
no,
no LMI requirement on my project.
Your project is fine. It's because of the nature of the work that we're doing.
Rule. Like, nobody, in other words.
But
I've been
the
told all
item
along that
here
LMI
is
doesn't matter.
ARPA money, so
No,
we're kind of getting too
Yeah.
far off into
Yeah, too-
CDBG that's
No,
not
but
included.
because I'm trying to figure out why we're doing two different things. If there's all this CBDG money, why we need to do, like, that's what I'm just trying to determine here is, I was told there's no LMI related to CBDG
No,
MIT on
there
this
is,
case.
there is LMI,
Okay,
but the thing
where?
is
Show me that rule.
in,
Grant Works back on?
Grant
thing-
Works is who told me there was no LMI.
no. The thing is there is LMI, but all of it's being soaked up in Commissioner Modis's precinct. We, as part of the application, had to provide, I think it was 47% LMI to the total county. That's why your precinct is being left out, because during the surveys that were done for these projects, all the LMI requirements were being met by both Commissioner Modis, Commissioner Hernandez, and Commissioner Jag, so that left your area. Doesn't need to be LMI. Some of these areas that are in Commissioner Jag's do not require LMI, but because the nature of the work that we're doing on their property, it requires, federal funding requires that we do LMI.
Okay, so I get that this is
Can you clarify that?
ARPA, yeah, I guess if this
Yeah.
is ARPA, then you're just wanting to do some with ARPA
No,
and
no.
some with CBDG MIT?
Right, but this item is in regards to him getting additional funding, because we've got our group that we're gonna do with the LMI for MITMOD a year and a half from now. He's gonna do this group with his ARPA money
No.
now. That leaves this group in the center that meet the criteria. We're not gonna be able to do
Hopefully we
that.
can help them.
And so when he collects additional funding, that would allow us to do those ones that are left out.
Okay, so what if, and I mean, what if, like, you don't, so you're gonna spend the 500,000 no matter what, and if you get some, you'll add to it, if you don't, you're just gonna do what you can with the 500? Oh, okay, all right, that sort of clears it up, thank you. Okay,
But your
sorry.
ask is going to only be for you, so it's
Right, my
not, the
project.
court is just giving you permission
Right.
to ask on your
Right.
behalf for your,
Right.
yes, is what you're asking,
Right.
yes. So it's not necessarily a court ask, this is your ask, since it doesn't pertain to anybody but
Same thing we did with the
you.
pier, the
Yes.
restaurant, the same
Yes,
thing.
yes.
So,
Okay,
but, so move.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 13. It says discuss splitting certain departments to determine, I know in previous, there is no background on this. It doesn't say anything about which departments, what we're doing.
No.
This, oh, I'm sorry,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
sis, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Yeah,
No,
it's your
just-
item,
It's
so.
my, yes, ma'am, I put it on there because I've been approached by employees. Some employees have approached me or contacted me about their concerns of departments being split.
That's and that, let's be careful how far we go on that, because there's some of this that might need to be pulled into executive, but that's what I was wanting to say on
Well,
here.
that's the reason I put it on here.
Yes.
Because employees, want to know, what their status might be with this in the county.
And understandable that more is going to be a budget item coming up, but I can pull it into executive if you want to talk more about it, but there isn't any backup or any specifics, so it really should be tabled to the next meeting if you want to add that.
Judge, I don't, yeah, that's I was gonna say, is there's no backup though.
What kind of backup would you?
Well, in other words, someone called me yesterday and said, what is this about? And I said, I have no clue what this is about, because there's no backup and it's not worded, so it's the same as my item that I tabled,
Well, we
because the backup didn't get in. I think we ought to table this too, because,
But if it's general, can we do something general, not specific, though?
yeah, but I don't understand,
that be
well, about what? Like, how do we do general when nobody, I don't even know what this is about until what he just said.
I'm looking
so.
to our legal
Our county
counsel.
attorney,
Yeah,
let's
Ms.
see
Dorsey.
what the attorney says,
Yeah.
yes.
Are you not wanting to answer?
Says,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm
right.
still,
It doesn't say
Still
the
in 12.
department splitting, it doesn't say any kind of definition, so this is
But-
open
but
wide
if
to
he wants to-
everybody.
part of this, it's just a discuss, there, so I mean, you can discuss, but if there are gonna be legal issues, associated with that, whatever, then we can take that certainly, and I would advise to take that into
I mean,
executive.
we can table it for now, but the thing of the matter is that employees are concerned of what they
And
hear.
I agree,
I don't even,
understand.
like, I don't even know what that means.
So, your motion to table, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
It's a
Is that,
backup. Get the backup.
to the budget or to the next meeting? What are we tabling to?
Whenever Commissioner
Right,
Hernandez
next
wants to
meeting.
put it back.
Whenever he wants to put it back on then, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 14, discuss and consider approval of a 3-year agreement with Carasoft DIR contract for the county clerk's sub-site build-out hosting maintenance. The funding source is 1316 elections. They do it all the time. I would make the motion to pass. We have a motion and a,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Then all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 15, discuss and consider execution of a 3-year agreement for a total of $30,000, $10,000 per year between Nueces County and the Coastal Bend Air Quality Partnership for the services related to the protection of the Coastal Bend air quality. It'd be year 1, 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26, 10,000 a year. We've been doing this for a while. This is just, yes.
Forever.
We have a motion, do I have, we have a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed, the same sign, the motion passes. The next two items, item number 16 and 17, I put together because they both go together. If you would allow me, I think last time we didn't hear Richter's plans, I know that he is here, if we could go through the plans first before the discussion, if you are okay with that. I think we all need to hear clearly what it is and what the plan is. So, Mr. Richter, I'd call you up to, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. We have a graphic that I think should be ready to put on your screen to clarify maybe some of the questions about the value engineering the project has.
That one?
Okay, there we go. So
And we lost it. No, sorry.
it's a quick view. Okay, now, So for clarification, I think there was maybe a little bit of confusion about what was in the bid, what was in a bid alternate, and what's been in the value engineering efforts that have gone on since I last was in front of you. Shown in blue is everything that was bid in the base bid that went out recently. In green, which is wing B, was a bid alternate. So we had a hard bid on everything in blue, and we had a hard bid on green. And because the project was over budget, it was considered, in order to make the budget, that we would not accept the bid alternate. So that was not negotiated out, it just wasn't accepted, it was not a part of the base bid. So the bid alternate was roughly $1 million, that was not accepted. Of course, it's not accepted until you accept it anyway, but for the purposes of us trying to get into the budget, that was disallowed. The only thing in the original bid scope that was deleted in the value engineering was the blue square with the red around it on the far left, which is basically public restrooms and a tool and mechanical storage building. That was deleted from the base bid. Now, in addition, the balance of the building, the majority of the building in wings A and C, which are shown to be renovated, and the new construction that are shown new to the right between A and C and just south of C, all of that is still in the scope of the project after the value engineering. Some changes were made to that base bid, primarily in simplifying the air conditioning control systems and also in some of the finishes and some windows. We had almost all glass on the buildings, and now we have about 80% glass. We reduced some of the scope of the windows, and we deleted the operable windows and made them fixed windows. So some of the green aspects in the original plan were converted to a more conventional construction in order to bring the project into budget. But the scope of the project, the footprint, with the exception of that one small building to the left, was not reduced. But we were able to get better than $1 million, or roughly $1 million out of the base bid in order to bring it down to 9.4 million. I think the three wings shown, D, E, and F, were not in the scope of the original bid, and of course, they're not in the scope of the value engineering either. They're basically left for their current uses and for potential future benefit to the county.
So B, D, E, and F are all going to stay the way they were. There's nothing being done on those.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And why,
yeah,
and why did you say B was in green? I didn't catch that.
B was in green because the renovation of it was bid as a bid alternate. It was in the scope of the bid, but because it was a bid alternate and it was over budget, we basically elected not to consider that as part of the value engineered scope. So it essentially reverts, in a sense, to the same status as D, E, and F, which is existing uses.
And so, taking out the new space for this, just leave that aside.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out, so
Yep.
basically, we're not touching B, D, E, and F, which is, what does B, D, E, and F represent in square footage? If anyone knows that, because I can't, it's too small in there.
But that wasn't her part of the drawing, though. That wasn't her part of the base bid.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, we're leaving a great part of this undone. And
About 20,000.
Between.
Little
B-
over 20,000.
B, D, E, and F?
Yeah.
20,000?
20, slightly over 20.
Okay, so B, D, and F, and then the renovated space is, how many
The
square feet?
renovated space is A and C, which is about 15.
Okay.
And then the new construction is about 8.
And you answered my emails about this, David, and I appreciate that. And, but I do want to kind of talk about that in general. You know, you'd made a comment in the last meeting, and we kind of stopped talking about it because we were just going to move on and wait till this came back. was that there was never an intent to renovate the whole building. And that's, as I disagreed with you in my email, my intent was it was always going to be to renovate the whole building. And so my concern is, that's why I've changed my position on this, is because the scope of this has dramatically changed, in my opinion. Y'all may disagree, and that's okay. That's what reasonable people can disagree, because it doesn't make sense to me to not renovate B, D, E, and F, add new space, even though it's a great design, and you explain why you did it, right? Because it was kind of a design and functionality type situation. But to me, it would have been easier for me to swallow, even though I do still stand with the position that I think we ought to tear it down and build a new one. But that may or may not be where we are today, or can get to today. At the very least, it would seem we should have renovated it and touched every part of this thing. Otherwise, I'm afraid we're never going to come back to B, D, E, and F, because this is once in a lifetime type money. Commissioner Hernandez committed his ARPA funds, which is greatly appreciated. And then the court committed another 6 or 7 million of settlement money and different COs and stuff like that to make up this budget, which that was appreciated, and I voted for that and support it. And I think every penny of this ought to be spent in Precinct 1. Every dime of it should stay in Precinct 1. But I just have concerns over ever getting back to B, D, and F. I mean, I don't know why, when the value engineering was going on, why we didn't just eliminate the new and keep another wing in it and look to figure out how we could touch all of it. I get the functionality and the design, and that's all good and fine, but we're leaving 20,000 square feet of the project untouched, and probably won't be touched again for many, many, many years, because we're not going to have 9 or 10 more million fall in our lap like we did on this to do it. So I'm just trying to figure out why we didn't try to redesign and touch all of it. I know we couldn't have done as much on some of it, but we could have done a lot on all of it. I mean, we've got one wing that we've got $1 million plus of election equipment sitting in, and I think we're not touching that wing. 4 million?
Which wing
or more
is
than
that, by the way?
4
Which
million,
one
huh?
is?
D.
D is in D? That's what I thought.
Right, so I'm sorry,
think
I
it's-
misquoted. Millions of dollars of election equipment that are sitting in one of these wings that we're not even touching. That's concerning to me. So I don't know where to go on this, because I mean, this scope has changed, and I've got a question for purchasing. Can we even do it this way? Because I think the project on this scope has changed. So I don't know if Michael here or somebody from purchasing here?
Well,
I
is
couldn't
here.
see you.
Yes.
I'd like to know the opinion on that. I mean, can we even do it this way?
Okay, so do you want to bring the picture back up, please? So in reviewing the changes that are proposed by Richter, I see no compelling reason why the re-engineering efforts would cause the court to be required to rebid. The only piece of the project that is being taken away is that small blue box on the left side, which I understand is less than 10% of the project by a great deal. And so all of the changes that are being proposed are within the, if you will, the box of changes that were being identified. And those were like HVAC changes and other materials changes that are normally in a value engineering project. So I see no reason why we'd be required to rebid this. There's no legal reason that would compel the court to have to be made that into that choice. So the court remains available to proceed in your normal fashion of evaluating this project and determining whether you want to move forward with it or not. Either direction is fine with whatever the court decides.
Okay, I appreciate that answer. But again, David, I'm going to ask, why wouldn't you have thought when you're designing the building, you've got to know the state of what it took us to even get this kind of money, and it's a lot of money. Why wouldn't we have tried to touch the whole building and done something with the whole building instead of just part of it and then adding new space? I mean, we could have spent that money on the new space on a couple of wings and made a difference. And like I said, we've got millions of dollars of equipment sitting in a space and we're not even touching that.
I'll answer that in sort of two parts, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Technically, when you said it was your understanding that the entire project was being touched in the very early stages, more than a year ago, when we first posed this project, we did price the renovation of the entire facility, and it was the price was north of $15 million, and that's in non-inflated dollars from probably 2 years ago. And right away, it was determined that that was not going to be in the budget. And so, and it was also it was much larger than the program needs for the community center. So we could have, obviously, we could demolish wings that are not being used, but they're in beneficial use right now. The structure is sound, the roof is good, they have life left in them. They are old and not as attractive as they once were, but they're functional. And so it was decided to leave them alone and shrink the footprint of the community center to be the footprint that was affordable at the time. And so that's when the 3 wings that were sort of taken off the table were taken off. And this happened more than a year ago as the project developed. The second part of your question is, when we're faced with value engineering based on this scope, why wouldn't we delete the new construction and renovate another wing instead of having a portion of it being new and portion of it not being new? We opted to not do that for 2 reasons. One is because the delta between new construction and renovation is not as big as you might think it would be, because if these buildings, the renovated are being completely gutted back to bare structure. And so all of the guts of the building, the envelope, the windows, the electrical, the mechanical, all of it's new, even in the renovated portions. So the amount of savings generated is not as great as you might think, and yet it compromises the functionality and the plan, and it would significantly set us back schedule-wise, because it would require a complete redesign, whereas this is just sort of implements the plan. So it was considered not really to be a viable strategy for value engineering. This got us in the budget. It got us in the budget respecting the current design, and it puts you in a position to add to the design as you may need. Now, the future of those 3 wings that are not touched is up for consideration, and I'm sure you have a much better sense of the likelihood of that than I. But we looked at it as basically viable, useful space for the county. Is it more valuable to the county in its current state, or is it more valuable gone? And that's a judgment that the court will have to make. But from our vantage, it appeared to us that it's useful in its current state, and it could be exceedingly useful in the future if the county decided to expand the community center. So that's what you see.
And I appreciate that. And so basically, kind of what you're saying is renovating is more expensive than new space, because you said the delta is not what it is.
No, well, it's not more expensive, but it's probably 80% of the cost of new space. And when you consider, but also keep in mind that if we were to build the new, all cast in place concrete to the quality of the existing, the new cost would be even higher.
Okay, well,
so
sorry.
I'm just saying that the quality of the base structure of the existing buildings is quite high. And so it's a value proposition. It's not, you always assume, well, the new is going to cost a lot more than the renovation. Not necessarily. If you strip back to the bare concrete structure, and you're going to spend the majority of what new would cost.
Well, let me ask it this way then. How much is the new space costing to build? What does that new space cost on the current
We
bid?
don't, unfortunately, when we bid, we don't get a hard, they don't break it out that way, so we can't give you a hard number on that.
Well, you must have been able to, because when you eliminated the B, you eliminated an amount of money, so they must
Yeah.
have broken it down somehow to where you could figure that out.
The B was bid separately, and the B was actually a very good, it was a very competitive bid, okay? They bid the B at under $1 million, and that would equate to roughly $164 a square foot. So the price that was bid at B
To renovate?
is a bargain basement price, okay? It's very, very economical.
Well, then wouldn't you then make the argument that?
I would have loved to keep that, yes.
No, but wouldn't you make the argument that the new space has got to be more than 100, there's no.
It is, it has to be, yeah.
You're telling, because what you told me what you told the court was in this plan, that all new construction is 425 a foot. That's what you estimated if we did all new construction in your plan.
Yes, that's correct.
So how many square feet is the new space that's there now?
The new space we have is about 8,000 square feet.
Okay, so if I do 425 a foot, 425,000 a foot, that's about 8,000, so what is, am I doing my math right?
3.5 million or so.
How much? How much?
I'm just
just trying
doing
to-
a
if it-
mental math, 3.5 or so.
3.4.
So the new space is 3.4 million of the existing, of the 9 million? I mean, what I'm saying is the new space is, according to you, is 425 a foot.
That was probably the new space for this design, built in between the buildings and around the buildings, might be a little higher than that. Because,
Okay, so my point of this is,
but
the B was $1 million, under $1 million to renovate.
right.
The new space alone is 3.4 million under your $425 a foot. You could literally take away the new space and renovate the other three with that same amount of money and renovate the entire project and take off this. That's what I'm trying to get to, is that new space is way more than renovated space, according to your estimates that you've given this court of what new construction is going to cost if we tore it down and rebuilt it. I'm using your numbers, and it's
But
425.
You are using my numbers, but there's apples and oranges here.
Okay, well, let's say it's 400 a foot. Let's say it's 350 a foot. It's got to be more than the renovation, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Double, probably.
I don't think so. I think that the renovated portions, I think the value we got for the bid alternate is probably at or near contractor cost, or maybe even under. Sometimes bidders will bid strategically, and so a bid alternate might be priced very low in order to shift a little bit of money into the base bid.
Okay, but at the end of the day, all we have is but that's speculation, right? We can
Well, no,
speculate.
yeah, but the numbers are not. So the numbers are not. And so the total project was bid at basically $10 million.
Okay,
And
but
so-
what I'm saying is, when we eliminated B, what did we eliminate? $1 million, okay? We know that 8,000 square feet is gonna cost way more than $1 million of new space.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll even reduce your numbers, right? You're telling me new construction today is costing, your numbers, 425, so that'd be 3.4 million. Let's say that it's only 2.7 million, just for sake of argument, because they gave us a really good deal. You could still almost renovate 2.5 more wings and take out that space. So my point to all this is, where I think we ought to tear it down and start over, I would have, and built something really nice and really special and really cool and spend all the money in that precinct. If we'd have done away with the new portion of this building, we could have renovated a lot more of the existing building, including a wing that has millions of dollars of county equipment in it, and we're not even touching these wings. So at the very least, we could have probably touched, and maybe it wouldn't have been as nice and as special and as beautiful as all the other A and C, but if we'd used this money better, we could have renovated the whole building in some way, because D, E, and F have to be renovated if we're gonna keep them, because they're, I don't know how else to say it, it's crappy space, it's old space, it's solid, the bones are good, I stand by that, the bones are good, and you're right, solid construction. This wasn't built to be a community center, it was built to be a hospital, and so we're retrofitting a tuberculosis sanatorium for a community center. I don't love that either, but it makes no sense to me not to be touching D, E, and F, now B also, and building $3 million potentially worth of new space, and we could have done it for renovation. So that's where I'm struggling with this. I think the scope of this has changed in the sense that, and hey, I missed it from the design standpoint. I'll take my hit on that, but I don't feel good about throwing more good money after bad just because I didn't catch this earlier, because I think we could easily shift gears. The harder one is to tear down, but we could easily shift gears and still renovate this whole project with the money we have. But I don't know. I don't understand why we didn't get rid of the new space.
Can somebody else say something?
Sure you can.
I have another question. I have a question about the ADA. They just commented, we spent a lot of money on the ADA improvements. Is this plan going to impact any of that? Are you going to utilize what we have?
Yes.
Or is
Well,
that,
I mean,
are we going to have to tear out stuff? That's what the county drives me crazy with. We do this stuff, then we have to tear it out and redo it. So
no,
are
well,
we
anything-
utilizing what
anything
we've
in the
done?
wings, anything in the wings that we're not touching will still be
stay.
there. It will still be there. The benefit is still accrued. In the blue section of the renovation, it will be, whatever was done there will be gutted because this is a complete redo of the blue section. So it's a new design. So
What's a
whatever
new
is.
design on the inside, you say gutted, but we've got ramps and
Oh, yeah.
concrete floor
Well,
and all
the-
that kind of stuff. Is that staying? Are we gonna have to repay for that?
If it's a
too?
portion of the entrances that is not affected, then it stays. But like it's a new entrance, we have the entrance to the facility is into a new portion instead of renovated, it's into the new portion, so there's some site work associated with that, and that's a redo. So there is some redo of ramps. Basically, in the area where it's shown blue is pretty much new in terms of site work.
Okay, I want to thank you for putting this thing in color and showing it to us.
Yeah.
But B was never part of the base bid. It was an additive.
Yes, sir.
So really, you're not taking away anything.
No.
We're not taking away B. B was never intended to be part of the base bid, although we could have used it, right? We could have used it, and then we still can use it because it's still an additive. So
Yeah,
we-
you could
so we can
still
come-
execute,
we can
if you
come
had
back-
900
we
and
can come
something
back and
thousand,
use
you
it.
could execute
Yeah,
that and
right.
add that wing
So-
for a good value.
And I remember when you came before us several times, and you talked about 15 million, 18 million, 15 million, and Commissioner Chesney, myself, and a lot of people were against it.
Right.
And we're adamant that we're not going to spend that much money, but now we're going to spend more money. You want to do the rest of the buildings, because D is elections, and that can be renovated. D that can be done internally, right? I mean, I didn't go in D because I was locked, so I couldn't go in there, but you have the key probably, but, so I couldn't go in there. So,
I've invited everyone to come take a look, and
okay,
no
well,
one's
I'm just saying,
No.
I'm not here to argue with you, whatever, but, so, and that's fine, that doesn't mean we're not gonna take care of it. That means we are gonna take care of it. I mean, it should be taken care of, and, and I asked Juan what it would take to even upgrade that building, and it doesn't take much. It's not gonna take much, So, I mean, to make an issue that, we're not gonna use all these buildings in E and F, or whatever it is, or down there, I can't even see the bottom one, but E, whatever, and maybe, I don't know, if those buildings are good, in time, we can find more money and little by little renovate them as we go, and you never know. I mean, and for somebody making comments that nobody uses that building, not enough people use it, well, I don't think they've been here long enough to know that building, when it was structured, when it was open, used by thousands and thousands of people, not hundreds, thousands of people. That building was the main building, just like on the west side, just like they have a main building, and on the south side, just like maybe the McGee. It's the same thing, this is a cornerstone on the west side that people use for meetings and exercises and, and Zumbas and all this other stuff, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, but those buildings were always used. Not only daytime, but evening time too. And I think, Edward, that's one of your buildings, so, you can attest to that that building was used, you
No one
know,
argues that.
by thousands of people, right? So, but I think that if, by renovating and doing a new portion, I think we come down from 15 million, whatever it was, to, I think one time we were 12 million, now we're 10 million, and now we're at 9 something. Well, you know, we're not gonna build it for free, you know, so, you know, I think that what we have here, I think, to me, it's a good building. I think it's a good base. I think, you know, we take care of elections, you know, take care of that building and, you know, make it.
That's an additional cost, so that's not
Well,
with this building, so.
But you're
yeah.
not gonna fix it without
Yes,
adding no
yes.
cost to anything, Judge.
But I meant, I don't know how much trouble it would be, but like Commissioner Chesney's comments, if you just, these two little squares, the new, if you took those two, you could do the repairs to all of those, to the item D, all of the wings there. It might be limited paint, floors, ceilings, but it would be renovated where they could utilize and still
But you know,
use all of them.
again, if it's not that much, I mean, we've done buildings ourselves internally. I mean, no,
Right, not with our budget right now, though. I think
we got
does
the
Juan
equipment,
have
we got
money in his budget
supplies,
for it?
and If you tell me you're gonna need one of those buildings and there's ARPA funds money left over, we can use it. You know, because I just heard her say today that we can use monies from one project to another project, so. you
So my
know.
question would be more, what is the cost already spent on the architecture, engineering and stuff? How much would it cost to change these two items out? And would that give us the money to do
All
these
three,
other-
Judge, you got 3 new areas.
Well,
That's
the one is already excluded. The
Yeah.
one outlined in red is the one with.
Oh, that's
the-
taken
I
out?
would,
Yes.
Judge,
That's
I'd have
out,
to
Judge?
get,
Out, or-
I'd have to get back to the court on that. I'd have to talk to consultants on
I
that.
hadn't thought
but,
about that, but if we could keep the new renovated, these other wings, keep everything else, if you just didn't do these two portions, I know it looks like WIC, this is set up for WIC at the bottom,
Yeah,
but
it's-
if
it
you
affects to some degree
redo
functionality.
back behind
Yeah.
there, if you open that up, there's still plenty of room with all of these wings to extend WIC, because they have a great program. I think we need to, you know, accommodate them by all means, but do we have to have that new portion? I'm just trying to think out of the box, and I
No,
know
it's-
we
it's a-
say,
It's a very reasonable
coming
question.
forward, we want to do the best we can with the limited amount of dollars we have, because, you know, it all sounds good and we'd like to come back and do more, but we may not have an opportunity like this for a long, long time.
I think, yeah, and that's true. I would say this, that it would, it is a significant, basically, the value engineering we did is within the spirit and of the design. It
I
maintains the
agree, and
design.
and it's no offense to you
Right.
whatsoever.
No, I
and yes,
understand. I'm just explaining that it's kind of low-hanging fruit. You have the ability to adapt a plan, keep its functionality, and it's not quite like starting over again. If we pull out the new sections, that changes the whole operation of the building. The administration would have to be completely reconfigured, and WIC would have to be found a new place, and the connectivity between those really 3 wings, 2 in particular, but even the future to E, but primarily between A and C would be lost, and we would have to functionally determine how the administration is going to work effectively without that connection.
Building connection.
All of that is theoretically possible. It's just
have to
it's a new,
redesign,
it's a
too.
completely new design.
But it's worked forever. You're adding an element that we've never had to make it more, quote, more functional.
work
But
better.
but thousands of people, as Joe has said, which I agree 100% with him, that building is used over and over and over, and we want it to be used over and over and over. But I want the whole building to be used over and over and over. We're never gonna get to D, E, and F and B. That's $4 million in today's money, and that's on the cheap side, as David said. We're never gonna get to, if we go forward with this plan, then this court needs to understand that we will not get to B, D, E, and F, and we're gonna leave this thing half done.
That's not true.
It's-
Not
where are you
true.
gonna get the money,
If
Joe?
we-
Commissioner Modis
where are
would
you gonna
like
get
to
the
make a
money? We
comment.
can do D, there's no problem, we can do D. I
Okay,
already talked to Juan, we can do D. D is not an issue, you know, and if you want some of my money, I'll give you some money to do F.
Commissioner Modis
So-
would like to comment.
Sorry,
but
Commissioner.
yes,
Sorry.
okay,
My bad.
go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. I'm trying to kind of get, because I know that the issue that's been brought up in you know, we're all charged with being subjective in projects that we try to support in our precincts, right? We're not gonna hold a straw poll or anything like that to where the most favored project wins. We're elected because we work with our stakeholders in our precincts and throughout the county to kind of pursue the best project. And we have heard, you know, from previous commissioners and of course our current commissioner that this has been an issue for many years now. I want to support the commissioner on this, but I do hear the concerns on the price. And so I want to go back, just from some clarity, I may be totally off. So the scope and work that you have, Mr. Richter, is you created a design for, this is basically renovation and some new construction, correct?
Correct.
And the areas that are shaded, and I'm colorblind, so forgive me, it looks purple or blue to me, I don't know what that is. Yeah, where the cursor is, all that's added, new and renovated. How much square foot was that again?
It's about 23,000.
23, so I'm looking at an agenda item from March of '21. And so I think it was when we first executed an architectural service contract with you. And so on there, it said that the discussion would be two conceptual designs, one for new construction and one for renovation. So is this a marriage of the two, or should there have always been two separate items? So that's what I'd like to find out, because we may be past that point, and if we are, just tell me, and I can live with that.
No,
but-
well, my recollection, and I'm glad you pulled that up, because that prompts a little discussion that's good to happen. But my recollection was when we were first hired, it was already at that time being considered to remove the building and build it new. And we were asked to evaluate the pros and cons of new versus renovation. We were not asked to do two competing designs, to do one full design new, one full design, that was not. We did evaluate, and we looked at much in the same way that we presented as in this summary of the value engineering, where we talk about new and renovation and the total square footage. And we were and are of the opinion that the core structures of the 6 wings that you have now are very valuable. And if you spend money, first of all, it costs you something close to $1 million by the time you deal with asbestos and demolition and everything to remove them. The value proposition is in beneficial reuse and rehabilitation, not in removal and replacement. Now, there are people who can make a very persuasive case that it would be nice to have a brand new building and all the benefits of a new building. And of course, we see that happening all the time. People tear down buildings all the time because they favor new buildings. Many times, the old building that's removed is very, very substantial and valuable and has intrinsic qualities that may not be readily apparent. And that was our case to the court at the very beginning. We felt like there was sufficient value in the buildings to save them, and that we would have a better building and a bigger building for the same dollar if we saved the buildings than if we tore them down. And we still think that's true. If we were to tear them down and build back, we would, for the same amount of money that you're looking at right here, we would have a new building of slightly smaller than the blue area, all new, and nothing else, none of the existing buildings. And whereas with this price, you have a very significantly renovated 2 wings plus new. You have the equivalent of new construction, 23,000 square feet, plus the value of those existing buildings. So we still think, my opinion, my firm's opinion is that the highest value to the county in the long term is to hold these buildings for beneficial rehabilitation at some point in the future. Commissioner Chesney is making a case that we should reshuffle the assets and try to do more of the rehabilitation sooner and less new. And that's a reasonable thing to consider, but it was not considered the highest and best use when we first developed this plan, because we felt like tying them together in this manner was gonna make a more functional and a better project. And so we thought this, and still think this is a good plan for a community center, but it does leave more of the building in its current state than what you might be able to do if you take those two new structures, remove them, and take that money to renovate existing. That's an interesting proposition, but we did not view that as the highest and best use of the property or the buildings, and therefore it's not in the design. If we were to try to undertake that now, I think I should tell the court, and if I didn't, I'm sure the purchasing agent would, if we remove the new construction and try to redo as part of the value engineering the other wings, we would be forced into a rebid situation. And we're in a inflationary period right now, and if you look at the profile of the bids that we got this time and project that forward, we might not be facing a favorable condition when we try to rebid this project for various reasons. So there's a lot of, what I'm saying, there's a lot of variables at play,
Yeah.
a lot of variables.
There's a lot of information and a lot of detail to provide, and I don't know if you fully explained whether or not there should have been two conceptual designs, because that was the discussion and the action that this court, or the previous court, took in 21, that one new construction and one for renovation would be created. If you simply just told me, no, it was in one, then that's a good enough answer. I'm done. But now you're kind of going to make me bear down on an issue that I just kind of stumbled over. I don't know if you answered my question. My question was simply, was the proposal that we have with the new facility, or the new buildings and the renovation combined into one? If that is the answer, then it kept with the spirit of what the discussion and the action by the court was. If it didn't, then somebody should have caught it. Any one of us or staff should have caught it a long time ago that wasn't done. Now, I'm not going to cry over spilled milk, but I just, like I said, I feel that's worth bringing up. I'm not ready to take action on this item today. I think there's a lot more questions. I do appreciate what Commissioner Chesney said in keeping the money in the precinct for use there, with Commissioner Hernandez to decide. I think as long as we keep that spirit there, I'm in favor of that. I do understand the market. I do understand that when you go out and ask for additional services, you're not only adding more time, you're adding more money. So those of us that are concerned about how much do we spend, by trying to say we're actually spending, we're spending more. So my questions, or my concern would be if we can follow this up more. I don't know if what, like I said, if you gave us a simple design that combined new construction and renovation, because it said two conceptual designs, right? And I don't want to keep belaboring this issue from 3 years ago, but it's very specific on the discussion item that was submitted to this court for action. So two conceptual designs, one for new, one for renovation. So if this was combined, then hey, you thought outside the box and you made it happen by having both parts combined into one. I can live with that, but I just want to make sure that that's not what we were owed, and then somebody in our checks and balances did not keep on top of that. That's my only concern here, because I understand what you're saying, I understand the cost of the design. Somebody didn't stay on top of it to make sure that happened, but that's a big concern for me. So I would I know we've had a lot of discussion, but I mean, when I was searching, trying to remind myself of all the discussions that you were referencing earlier, that's where this one popped up from March 24th of 2021. So I'd like to bring this back so we can work this with staff and get some more background on this. But in the spirit of saying, I do agree with keeping the same amount of money here. I don't want to waste more time. I don't want to spend more time on this issue, but I think we owe it to the people in Precinct 1 and to the people of the county to get this right. So Judge, respectfully ask that we table this item for the next meeting, no further delays, next meeting to allow purchasing and/or Public Works and/or legal to look at that item referenced March 24th, 2021, Hilltop Community Center conceptual design. There's discussion language that was in there that the court acted on, and so we just kind of see,
So,
the ball got dropped, it got dropped, right?
I don't understand what you're trying to,
Well,
you
what
said,
I'm
you
saying
said
is-
somebody dropped the ball. I guess you dropped the ball, I dropped the ball.
Oh, no, I
whoever
said that,
dropped the
sure,
ball.
sure,
I mean, the
I
thing
said
is,
we all
it's
did.
done, it's a done deal, we voted on it, and that to me was it's joint, it was a joint deal.
Right.
I never knew we were gonna get two different designs.
Well, we were supposed to, according to what I've found
Well,
too.
So I just,
Was in
look,
David's
like I said,
agenda.
if this has been included already in the design, then props to Mr. Richter and his team for making it all in one. I can live with the spirit of that being included, even though probably should have been two separate. It seems like you've captured the spirit of both, renovation and new. So I'm okay with that. But I just want to make sure that we can, can you verify that for us, legal, and get with Public Works? And
There was a lot of discussion. We can go through and.
Just to make sure, because
Trace it.
I think I'm with you, Commissioner Hernandez and Gonzalez on what you're pushing for, but I just want to make sure also that we just check this box off, because this was not something this was not a can of worms I was expecting to open at all. But this came up, and so I just felt we got to bring it up, because we're talking about, there was only one design ever. That's not what was voted on. And yeah, I mean, I embrace it, that I should have caught it, didn't know that didn't happen. So if we can just find out, I'd just like to know. I will be ready to act upon this item at the next board meeting, the next Commissioners Court meeting. And you know, we've already heard the pros and the cons to this, or the reasons for or against. I'll be ready to take action.
I wanna make a motion, we move forward.
His
I made a
motion
motion.
is first, hold
Judge?
on, yes.
I made a
I would like to speak.
No second.
I made a-
I'll second the motion for discussion.
I would like to speak, Judge.
Yes,
I appreciate all of you having so much interest in precinct 1 today, now. And maybe the reason y'all didn't catch it, Commissioner Mares, is because y'all didn't care at the time how things went, okay? And Commissioner Chesney, you know, you come here and you talk about precinct 1 like you live there, but take a look back at your precinct. How much money have you spent needlessly, you know?
Millions.
If you're asking
No,
questions, I'll be happy to
I
answer.
never interrupted you, sir.
Well, no, but you're asking me a question. So if you ask me a question,
Okay.
I'm gonna answer
Okay, let
it.
him finish, man.
So if you want to make a statement, and then I'll come back
Let
and,
him
but you,
finish, you can
Hey,
come
Commissioner,
back.
he's asking me a question, I'm gonna answer my question. If you want to make it as a statement, then I can rebut it when you're done. That would be the proper way, but I'm not gonna let you ask a question and not answer it. So
Okay,
if
well,
you
I'm
want
not-
to try it another way, go for it.
I'm not an attorney like you are, sir. So,
I
anyway.
agree.
You know, that I.B. McGee ceremony that you had just a few weeks ago, and I wasn't here, but what I understand, that was supposed to be a 2-year project. And then it turned out into a 6-year project. So it must have taken a lot more money than what you all anticipated. Okay? The pier, Bob Hall Pier, is being built longer than what it was. The thing, ARPA, you put things back the way they were, okay? But the pier now, you're talking about it, it's gonna be longer, a longer pier than what it was. So, you know, I don't know how you get things through. And then, you know, we decided that the restaurant, to begin with, was illegally built. They built it, and you were here at the time.
No, it
They built-
wasn't, Joe, no, it wasn't.
All right.
You keep saying that, and that's wrong too.
All right, it was a $800,000 grant money, supposed to have been gone to inspect the pilings on the pier to see if they were corroded or what.
That's wrong too.
No, it's not, sir. And-
excuse me,
This isn't even relative,
Okay.
this, we're not even on the
No,
subject
no,
yet.
well, I'm trying to rebuttal.
No, I'm calling a point of order. We're not you want to talk about Bob Hall Pier?
both
That
of
item's been
you, that's
tabled.
enough.
Well-
I'm gonna table it. This is not relevant to the
Yeah.
Well,
discussion going on right now.
Judge, one last thing that I was coming to. you were investing $4 million on the oil bill.
And that's not correct either, so let's
No,
just
wait a
table
minute.
this
You
right
making
now.
incorrect
Judge,
statements?
wait a minute.
Good
You
Lord.
started out with $4 million. Then you said you couldn't get the electrical buried underground because it was too much money, so you deleted. I didn't see you coming back to court and telling us we're gonna delete this, you know.
None of that
Judge,
is
point of order.
factual,
This is
so
your-
point of order,
George.
we are going to end
Dang,
discussion.
talk about the
Yes.
agenda
Go ahead and
item.
vote.
No, I mean,
Go ahead and vote.
We have a motion and a second to bring this back to the next meeting on May the 8th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed,
Nay.
same sign.
Nay.
well, I'm a nay on that one too, Judge. I'm sorry.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Richter, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Richter. Good report. Appreciate it.
Sorry you're going through this, Mr. Rick.
Getting paid.
Moving on to item 18, discuss and consider selection of Turner Ramirez Architects for additional modification wellness clinic. This is the conditional selection,
One.
one. To fund with COs, and you found your CO's money to do it, so make the motion to
Wait,
pass.
which one? On 18? So we tabled 16 and 17. My apologies. Thank you. So 18, got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. Thank you. Item number 19, discuss and consider upcoming Commissioners Court meeting dates. Are we gonna, my question on that is, are we changing any budget planning meetings? I know we haven't gotten our budget packets yet, or do you know when those are gonna go out, Dale?
It should be going out today or this week.
This week? And are we gonna extend that, or we'll come back to it whenever we get them, but to make sure when it
Once
closes
they
out?
issue, we'll, 3 weeks. I don't think there's any need to change anything at this moment.
Okay. Item B1, discuss and consider approval of a purchase of firearms by honorably retired peace officers and Captain, oh, I thought they were here earlier, sorry. This is a standard procedure. They are purchased at fair market price. We have a motion. I'll second them. Oh, I'll let Commissioner Hernandez second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. On item C1, ratify the submission of a no-match grant application to Little Free Library, a nonprofit. There's a no-cash match. I'll make the motion to pass.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The motion passes. On item C2, authorize the execution of a renewal and extension agreement for professional services with Justice Benefits. This is a renewal that we do of extension of services. We're just applying for it. I'll make the motion to pass.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. Item number C3, approve and adopt a citizen participation plan specific to the Nueces County Mid-Mod grant application through the GLO Community Block Development Grant. And this is required for this. It wasn't required for our initial, but that's before we had the Colonia septic projects, the drainage and septic projects in. So I'll make the motion to pass. Commissioner Gonzalez, do you want a second? Since this is yours, yes. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, the same sign. The motion passes. On item D1, Public Works, discuss and consider approval of work authorization number 2 for $71,525 for precinct 4 ARPA money, Freeze and Nichols for County Road 47 Bridge.
Judge, Public Works is recommending work authorization number 2.
So moved.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item D2, approve method of procurement, invitation for bids for Nueces County Animal Care Facility, and authorize the purchasing agent to publish a notice.
Judge, we're recommending going out for bids on the animal control based on IFB.
Finally.
Yes, ma'am.
Make the motion to pass.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor to go out for bids and authorize the purchasing agent to publish the notice.
Thank you,
Yes.
Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item E1, purchasing. Discuss and consider conditional selection of ICE engineers for Oil Belt Park improvements. And that was for $3,100,000 and something was my amount allocated to that project. Always the same amount from day one.
Second.
Yeah. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 2, discuss and consider authorizing approving amendment number 2 to the agreement with SecOps for the Nueces County Security Services and related matters. This, they asked for it in the budget. We did not fund it. It is going to have to be funded by general fund, but this is courthouse security. The interior, this is some of the things that we have all requested additional keypads or additional door things that have changed. Courthouse interior, exterior, the Keach Family Library is included, and the juvenile office have requested, so I think it's $100K shortage, is that correct?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Yes.
So moved.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 3, discuss and consider conditional selection of RxDX for Sunrise Pond Nature and Storytime Walking Trail. This is Precinct 3 ARPA funds for this project. I think is this the whole separate one, or is this part of the countywide one too, Commissioner? Just yours?
This is mine.
Just his? Okay.
There's a portion that is countywide.
Yeah, there's a portion and some that was mine that we're going to address later, but this is, yes, okay. Make the motion to pass. Do you want to?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. The auditors approve the final budget change order number 23 for fiscal year 2022-23.
Yes, Your Honor, every year we bring this up with the very year-end to get our year-end books. Now, this one's a little more complicated. We do have a very large entry to Department 1285. We have some information. Lisa and my staff will be over here just shortly to go over some of the changes of why it was so large. This is a transaction we do every year to try to make the annual books to clean up some areas, so we don't want any large overages that are there. And it will just be a few seconds when she'll come over to explain this. If we want to go to the next item 2, to tell she.
You're ready for that one?
can say
Okay, we'll
yes.
move forward and come back to item number 1.
Item number 2 is for this fiscal year. For budget number 6, there's 2 very small entries, one for the law library, moving some money from law office expenses to professional services, and for Inland Parks, moving some maintenance grounds to
We have a
professional
motion.
services.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. We'll come back as soon as Lisa gets here. We'll go on to Human Resources since he is back there. Item G1, approved drug and healthcare cost reporting 2023 annual report by drugcostreporting.com and Group Health Third-Party Administrator Boone Chapman. This is funded by the Healthcare Self-Insurance Funds.
That is correct. It's going to be minimal cost to the county. It's already included, as you stated, Judge, in the health insurance fund,
Yes.
$2,000.
I'll make the motion to pass.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Now Lisa is here, so item number 1, approve the final budget change order number 23. If she could help explain or give some
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. I've provided you all a significant impacts affecting the budgeted year-end report.
Do you have any more?
Yes. At the top, you'll see that the general administration, there was the health insurance overrun cost that Commissioners Court approved back in September of $4 million. The expensing of settlements and judgments, every time that Commissioners Court approves a settlement that doesn't have another funding source, it gets paid out of the self-insurance fund. Then at year end, we have to reimburse the self-insurance fund and accrue for any expected future settlements. We accrued $2,600,000 this year. I'm sorry, I was running. I'm a little out of breath.
This is 2.3.
300,000.
2.3.
Yes.
Yeah, 2.3 million.
Yes.
For the self-insurance fund, that's 0102. The policies, as y'all may remember, whenever we approved them back in May of 2023, there was a huge increase in those policies. Again, everything in the self-insurance fund that goes out has to be reimbursed by the county. So that $260,000 shortage was then allocated out to all the funds, as you can see right below that. GASB 87 and GASB 96 both have, which are financial reporting requirements that we have. They both have a fiscal impact. However, a significant portion of that, there's an offsetting revenue that you don't see whenever you're just doing a change order to cover expenses that offsets those expenses, so the net is zero. So again, it's, if you total, and I did a little subtotal at the bottom, all of the increased expenses for GASB 87 and 96 total $11,315,511. But the actual increase that in expense to your bottom line is $272,933. And again, this is a requirement that we received this year that we had to implement.
Judge, can I ask real quick, is this pertaining to budget change order 1?
No, it's budget change order 23. Budget change order 23 for the fiscal year
Auditor
ending.
number 1.
Or our agenda number 1?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna let her present, but I'm gonna ask that this get tabled too, because I just got it handed to me. We're
No,
trying to get-
no. The budget change order was attached to the
All right,
agenda.
but what is this?
Just more explanation.
Okay, so I was asked to explain why
Break
we
it down.
needed to increase
down.
expenses in
Right.
certain departments.
Right, so, but I just got it handed to me, and it's
I
related to.
understand we have to have that budget change order for fiscal year end.
Okay, if I can finish my sentence, if this is backup for further explanation for budget change order number 1, of which I just got handed, and I'm gonna have to vote on something that you just handed me, right? This is related to budget change order number 1 in our number 23. This is related to that. This is backup just handed to me. I'm not gonna vote for it
Because more
today.
information was requested.
Right.
And I understand, yes.
So I'm gonna I would make a motion to table this so that I can understand why we're doing this after she presents it,
I
or I'll
think
just
they
vote no,
need
whatever.
We have
Yes,
to
to
have it for
close
fiscal
the
year end
books.
at 9:30.
Well, okay, but that's not my fault that you just walked in and handed me this and expect me to understand all this.
Because
I get it.
Teresa
More-
requested the information,
I
yes.
asked Teresa to get
Right,
it
and she
because
should
I
have.
was asked some questions on what the amount was.
I agree, and so
Yes.
why did we should have gotten it before now, and I agree, Teresa did the right thing, you did the right thing, but I'm either gonna vote no on this, or I'm gonna vote to table, because I just got it handed to me. I'm still trying to think about other things and read all this and listen to all this, and I'm not gonna digest this in 3 minutes. So, I'm just saying what I'm gonna do. If y'all are okay voting for it, I can be outvoted, I
Is
don't
this
care.
because, has to do with the 3.5 million increase or what? I mean, I understand there was a 3.5 million. Every year we have 1.2 or 1.3 expenses. Now this year we had 3.5 million expenses. And it's an increase of 360% increase. Why? That's what I was asking
What?
earlier, what expenses have we had, that we don't show?
Oh, these expenses are all in our books. Again, we're doing our financial report for 9/30/23. These are all items that have already, except for the GASB 86 and or 96 and GASB 87. All of these items have come before Commissioners Court. All of the expenses were approved. The budget, I was asked to provide an explanation of what the large expenses that happened at year end that
3.5.
required such a big budget change order at 9/30/23.
3.5 from Department
So-
1285.
Yes, for 1285, and that's the 3.5
Got it.
that we needed in additional budget, again, just a presentation for year end, is because Commissioners, after we posted our last budget change order that was approved by Commissioners Court on September 13th, that same court, you approved the health insurance overrun of $4 million. So we didn't have a chance to do that budget change order.
That was in September, that was September of last year.
Yes, September of last year, and this is a budget change order for September of last year. We have to wait for all the expenses to come in, all those expenses to get reported.
Kara would like to ask a question on an item that she is referenced on, if that's okay with y'all. Into the microphone, please. Yes.
1315?
County Clerk Records Management, yes, there's an offsetting revenue. So if you have a revenue coming in and an expense going out, the two net zero, so there's no bottom line impact. But
Software.
it's the software for GASB 96.
But that's paid out of, so I'm not sure why it's referenced as the special fund. Why is it gonna be taken out and put in the general fund?
It's not in the general fund, it's in 1315, but there's a revenue in 1315 that offsets it also.
So why is it included?
Because the budget change order is for expenses increased, and it was a change order that was needed at year end to cover those expenses. We don't do budget change orders for revenues, only expenses.
So why is it the only one listed? Because if that's the case, it would be for
it's
all
not-
the special funds.
Well,
Right.
it's the only one that had the software that met the requirements of GASB 96.
Just all I wanted was explanation to know that, no, it wasn't needed, we didn't go
Yeah,
over budget.
That's
Into the
correct.
microphone.
'Cause it's
Yes,
very- 'cause it
into
is.
the microphone.
I understand.
So I
Yes.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. So do you want to move this, Commissioner Chesney, or are you wanting
If everybody
to?
wants to move forward, I can just vote no, I don't care. Whatever everybody else wants to do.
There's,
No, I don't,
Commissioner Gonzalez, you still have your questions
I'm-
on it?
No.
You're not ready to move forward on this either? So,
So,
we,
is that you on the table?
do y'all want to bring it back to the next meeting?
motion to table to the next meeting, Judge.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table to the next meeting. I have one question, though. I was told this is like closing out our year end before we get our packets for next year. Does this have any effect on that?
Yes.
No, it does
I mean,
not.
the expenses are
That's
already
all I need.
recorded.
We have a motion to table, so we're good. To the next meeting then. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. So, I believe unless we go back, I don't think there's anything that we haven't gone back to. We took up the appointments, so we are now going into executive session. Executive session, public notices given, Commissioners Court may elect to go into executive session anytime during the meeting to discuss matters listed anywhere on the agenda when authorized by the provisions of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of Texas Government Code. To the extent there's been a past practice of distinguishing items for public deliberation and those for executive session, the public is advised that the court is departing from that practice and reserves the right to discuss any listed agenda items in executive session when authorized by law to do so. In the event Commissioners Court elects to go into executive session, since we aren't pulling anything out with any votes, our executive session is just internal. Do I have to read all this? Yes, okay, never mind. In the event elects to go into executive session regarding An agenda item, this section or sections of the Open Meetings Act authorizing the executive session will be publicly announced by the presiding officer in accordance with the authority of Government Code, Texas Vernon's Code, Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.073, 551.074, 551.0745, 551.076, 551.086, 551.087. Commissioners Court will hold an executive session to consult with an attorney, including matters related to litigation, deliberate regarding real property, prospective gifts, personnel matters, including termination, county advisory bodies, security devices, and/or economic development negotiations, and other matters that may be discussed in an executive session. Upon completion of the executive session, the Commissioners Court may, in an open session, take such action as appropriate on items discussed in executive session. Today, item A is to discuss and consider the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of Nueces County appointed department heads as scheduled. Today, we have the Director of Human Resources and the Medical Examiner by the Commissioners Court, Texas Government Code 551.071. It is 11:48, and we are going to exec. I am calling this meeting back to order at 1:54. I would like to first make a correction in case we went off the air. We broke at 12:48 for executive instead of, I misspoke and said 11:48. So I think that it's going to be corrected in the minutes, but I'd like to say it right now. There's one other question I have before we move forward. On the reconsideration, I have a question from the auditor on this budget change order number 23. I am told if we didn't address this, is there any problem with that other than it's going to show negative amounts at the end of the year in those accounts that?
All Judge 23 does is clear up the accounts where most of them will be positive numbers. There's still
So they were
two
negative, they either went over, and let me be clear, from what it looks like, the vast majority of the court votes in those were for court-appointed attorneys, that they can't estimate that this wasn't in any detrimental way them going over their budget. But the other things in there are actual budget change orders that they went over their budget. Yes, yeah. So is it a necessary thing for us to bring this back to reconsider because of the end-of-year posting?
The only thing we want to do is we want to try to clear up, because this is the annual financial report that's going to go out to everybody in the world.
That
And
we
they're
were
gonna
negative.
see- And they're going to see if we don't do anything with the 23, there's going to be some departments that are negative. And those
If they were
departments are-
actually negative, I don't have a problem with people being negative. We all have a budget we're supposed to work
But then
within.
the public will have to may have questions and ask why, so.
Okay.
We just try to clear it up. Does it have to be done? No.
It does not have to be done, so, but unless whoever made the motion wants to bring it back up, then it's done. It will just go out like it is, so, okay. Okay, well then, do we have any adjournments in memory?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead.
First one I have is Roseanne Matheson, beloved mother, grandmother, and cherished Gigi, who went to be with the Lord on April 19th, 2024. She passed away surrounded by her loving family after a life filled with love and unforgettable memories. She was a beacon of warmth and kindness to all who knew her, a loving wife to her husband Jack, and together they shared many adventures exploring the great outdoors in their RV, camping under the stars, and embarking on road trips with her beloved brother-in-law Donnie and sister-in-law Sandy, who brought her immense joy and countless cherished moments. But above all, she treasured her family. She was a devoted grandmother who poured her love and affection to her grandchildren and great-grandchildren, creating lifelong bonds and unforgettable moments. Her home was always filled with booming laughter and warmth. Her legacy of love and compassion will continue to live on in the hearts of all fortunate enough to know her. She's survived by her loving family, including her son Ralph, daughter Shannon, and her youngest son Brian. She was adoring grandmother of Delaney, Lindsay, Elliot, Ryan, and Cecily, and the cherished Gigi of Riley, Jackson, Tyson, Corbin, Jack, Dublin, AJ, August, and Witten. Our condolences to the Matheson family. Second one is Delene Vaughn. Delene Sandra Nelson Vaughn, beloved mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, passed away on March 23rd, 2024, surrounded by family. She was 87 years old. She was born on December 2nd, 1936, to her parents. She grew up in Corpus Christi, finally graduating from Miller High School in 1954 before getting married. She married Robert Reddington Vaughn, a lieutenant commander in the U.S. Navy, on December 16, 1956 in Corpus Christi. They went on to have 3 children, Robert Daniel Vaughn, Richard Russell Vaughn, and Michelle Shawn Vaughn. During the early years of their marriage, they moved to U.S. Naval Base, and Delene found work as a volunteer Red Cross nurse and as a model. Delene and Robert exchanged letters whenever they could not be together, and a record of their love and care for one another. Upon her husband's death, Delene moved to Corpus Christi to raise their 3 children by herself while obtaining her bachelor's degree in speech pathology and master's in science and diagnostics. She will be missed and remembered by many. Condolences to the Vaughn family on the passing of Delene Vaughn.
Yes, our condolences to each of those 2 families, the Matheson and the Vaughn family. Are there any other adjournments in memory? Then I would make a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And it is 1:58, and we are adjourned.